Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello there.
No James and Sean this week, so we've got Sarah Dyer back. Hi Sarah.
Hello.
Hi, Sarah.
So, this is the coming together of the beef. Ugh, that sounds wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah,
just sounds... Ugh.
That sounds filthy.
That's not a phrase that anyone uses, no.
I mean, that's a great episode title straight away. It must be the quickest episode title ever.
It's straight off the bat. Nice one. But I feel like a bit of a mediator here. Are we going to be all right?
I feel like...
Are we going to be all right?
I feel like you're either going to be the mediator or you're going to be the instigator.
You listened to too much of this show. I was going to try...
I did say over my dead body. And I've checked and I'm very much still here, so...
well, it just goes to show that you've got no power in these calls,
it's not
Matt.
that. I listened back...
Absolutely no power.
I listened back to the previous episodes and they were great, but I'm thinking now, I probably said some things I probably shouldn't have done. Sarah, you've said lots of things you shouldn't have done, and I think we should probably just... What? No, I think we probably should
Sarah,
just...
what do you think of the socials, Sarah?
Let's not.
I'm
I'm
pretty certain I passed no judgment on the socials. I just explained my listening habits.
I'm thinking we squashed
good
this
point.
beef. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking, enough's enough.
How do you think it's going, Matt?
I think we've all had a bit of fun, and I'm willing to. Was it make bygones be bygones? Well, I don't know what the phrase is.
Yeah. Let bygones be bygones.
Yeah,
Water
that
under
one,
the
yeah.
bridge.
Yeah. Plenty more fish in the sea and
I
all
don't
that.
like this.
No, I'm
don't
thinking.
like this.
I'm thinking. My virtual hand is out now, Sarah, for potential handshake. You don't have to, shake the hand. Of course, you can do what you want, but
I will match you with that handshake.
Good.
Whoa. Use the antibacteria gel directly after
we just
doing
did
that.
the
Come
elbow.
on, we're not.
It was the elbow thing.
Right, okay, there's the elbow. That's fine. That's fine then, because new COVID is involved with an elbow.
No. That's scientifically proven.
It is scientifically proven.
Can't catch COVID through an elbow. I read that.
We'd like to start the show by shouting out our Patreon producers this month. They're the Full Nels crew. And we have Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Tom S., Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Gabby Pereira, Graham Mackay, Rocketman76, Rex Reese, Happy Birthday Sam, Love from Neil, aka Bitch in Sync, Grey Dragon Claw, and Fred Fenge. They all went full Nelson. You too can go full Nelson. Join that amazing team by going to patreon.com/TCGS. Don't want to go full Nels? There are different tiers there. We got some exciting stuff in the future. It's not going to be this month, but if you go for the Talks Over tier, I'm hoping... We've not mentioned this on the main show. So on the last Talks Over we did, I mentioned that when I was about 5 or 6, I was on a game show for a cable channel just as cable television was starting to come out, and we've got a VHS tape of that somewhere. I've spoken to the parents, they still have it. I'm going to try and get it when I go down there next week. Is it next week? Maybe the week after. And I'm going to convert it, and we're hoping to do a Talks Over of a game show called Raise the Roof. Whee!
I can't
Which
wait.
I appeared on with my brother. And I mentioned this, it's a bit of a spoiler, but I mentioned this. You can actually watch them fix one of the games so that no one wins and no one got a prize, because they clearly didn't have a prize to give away. So keep your eye out for that.
And that's all on video. I cannot wait.
It's all on video, mate. I just hope it's in a decent nick, because I've got a feeling that my dad doesn't look after
it's
his
going to be like an
VHS
80s or
tapes.
90s VHS. I don't know what sort of quality you're expecting.
It would be 80s. I think it would be 80s, right? Yeah, because if I was 6 or younger, then it would be 80s.
Yeah, if you do the maths. Yeah.
If you do the maths, right. Before we get to the main feedback, I'll do my bit of feedback. Have you got any feedback on the shows you've not been on, Sarah?
Yeah, I listen.
Have you got anything you want to...
listen every week.
Go on, have you got anything to comment on the past few weeks that you haven't been on?
I really enjoyed when Ian was on. That was really good fun. I feel like
he's all right, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good lad. I feel like as well I should apologise to those headphone listeners that got a bit freaked out with the I felt awful though when I listened to it, because occasionally, like, my boyfriend will do it when we're on like Xbox Live or whatever, and it is like complete nails on a chalkboard to me. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So
I thought
as
you were used to it.
No.
I thought you wouldn't even hear it really, because you know.
No.
Do you have the problem that I have with the people that you play with online? And they constantly go, what can you please, like, John Denton absolutely kills me for it. Because when I'm vaping and the mic is obviously right next to the mouth, he said it's so loud in his ear, he gets the right up.
Yeah. And I'm also like really sensitive to people eating or breathing or basically noises that other people make. I don't like. So the moment that listener said that he was listening with headphones, I was like, oh no, because I know exactly how they felt. So yeah, I do apologise.
So, but the thing is, you're apologising there, and that's nice and everything, but you were a guest, and we had an editor. So, who edited that show? I'm trying to remember who.
The beef's been squashed, and you're already trying to bring. I said you were going to be an instigator.
I've got a cow on a lead, and I'm taking him to the slaughterhouse. Come on,
yeah,
Matt, you edited that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I think I might have. It was a very busy week at work, and I tops and tailed it, and I thought, what a great show that was, and then send it off to the publishers, and publishers being.
It's funny. I didn't see you hold your hand up and say, "Oh yeah, I should have picked that up in the edit." I didn't see.
Well, yeah. I mean, any more feedback from last week's show, David? Did you?
I've got some feedback. Yes. Firstly, Sean. Yes, my job is more important than this podcast. I'm terribly sorry to disappoint you. But obviously, as Matt pointed out, the reason why I was at work and not on the pod last week is that I had no voice. It was all over the place. As Matt said, my voice was. It was like I was going through puberty again. It was like that. But I will say this: a funny voice wouldn't discredit any of my opinions, because all the points that I make are valid. So you can take that back, Sean. Everything I say is, and you'll go, "Oh, he's saying it in a funny voice," but my God, is he right? That would be the response you would get.
Yeah, he sounds like an idiot, but there's still such a strong message there.
This annoyed me. So we had an argument, Matt, a few weeks ago about how you should get Super Mario Party instead of this Mario Party rehash, right?
Yeah.
And you argued with James about it. One emailer emailed in and said, "Oh, you should get Super Mario Party, not this new one." And you went, "Yeah, maybe you're right, actually." And I thought, so a random person can email in and you'll take their opinion, but me and James, your only friends, are telling you to get Super Mario Party.
No, but they were backing up with facts,
mate, no.
And you were just like, no, don't know. You don't know what you're talking about. We know, you don't know. No. And whereas this person had facts and, they're science.
I mean, you don't know what you're talking about, but and we know what we're talking about. They're two facts we've given you there. There's two facts we've given you
Finally,
there.
You've come in with science, but it's a bit late.
Much. I will tell you this, right?
Oh, yeah.
In terms of co-op play, just get Super Mario Party, because you could play 2 players against the computer on the little thing. It was a little bit more strategic. Just get Super Mario Party. It's good. It's a good game. And the last point I've got was, James talking about how much worse the new what is this? The new PES is. What they call it? eFootball.
eFootball, yeah.
Is compared to the beta demo that they put out. Like, it's actually worse. The main release is actually worse, which backs up my point that you shouldn't have passed comment that this was representative of the final product. So, James, I know you're sitting there and you're furious, but you've just proved my point right. So, that's it. That was it for my feedback. It was a good show as usual last week, Matt. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did notice James threw in a couple of digs here and there just because you weren't there. I did notice.
I just used it. I mean, it's really funny because, like, the digs that he chucks at me are so pathetic that I sort of sitting on the bus just going, bless him. He's trying. He's just not got it in him. So, yeah, no, it didn't really affect me, that. Didn't really
You're just
affect
sitting
me
on the
that.
bus, weren't you? And this was a
I was sitting on the
weekend.
bus,
It was
yeah.
in the middle of the night.
I was just going around in a loop. Yeah. And at one point, do you know that's happened to me before? Where I've fallen asleep on a bus and woken up in pitch black because they'd parked it up in a bus garage and hadn't noticed I was on the top deck.
I've done similar, where I was getting bus home from a night out in Edinburgh, and I got on the bus, and I woke up back on Princes Street where I started, but it was like the last bus of the night, because Edinburgh has this weird thing, like in all of Scotland, where like everything closes at 3 a.m. So if you leave when everywhere closes, like that's your only chance to get home. So essentially, I had to sit in a bus stop on Princes Street until the first bus turned up, because how
long was that?
Like 2 hours.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Because there were also,
I thought you were going to say,
there was also no taxis at that point as well, because it had been like an hour since everything kicked out. So yeah, that was fun. And then there was the time when I woke up and I didn't know where I was, and I was wearing a coat that I had never seen before in my life.
Thief.
I don't know how it happened. I felt really bad though, because I reached into the pockets and there was a set of keys, and I was like, "These aren't my keys. This isn't my coat.
It's a set of keys.
I don't know where I am."
And I had a 62-inch TV next to me, and you went on a crime spree drunk. That's what happened.
Yep, apparently so.
Clearly. I did something similar on the Northern Line once, where I had to get off at Morden, which is the end of the Northern Line, and I fell asleep on the tube and then woke up like at Tooting Bec. And I thought, I've already been to Tooting Bec, what's going on? And then realised that I was going in the other direction. I'd fallen asleep, the train had stopped, and then started going back up again. Feel like a right wally. I did. I felt like a right wally. All right, okay, that's our feedback, Matt. What did the listeners think?
Let's get on to the real deal. We're going to start with Fred Fenge, a Fallen Us member from last month even. Hi all, you did indeed get my surname correct. Fenji rhymes with Penji. See, so that is correct there.
Feng rhymes with Peng.
I see what you've done there.
Oh, your Feng rhymes with Peng, or Fenge rhymes with Peng. I mean, it's hard to really determine
yeah, it's true.
The pronunciation in words, but Fengi, Pengi, Fenge, Penge, I think we're finally...
Well, I mean, I think the first part of that email sums it up for you, Matt. We did indeed get the surname correct, so we're all good. Right, we're good.
Wrecked Reese, hi guys, a couple of weeks ago, or even last week, I submitted a question, do you ever listen to your own pod apart from when editing? My question was snubbed and not read out, which is understandable, and I've no ill feeling towards this. However, it was disappointing to hear Dr. Farley pose the same question during the feedback section of the most recent episode, and it did not get edited out for being a shit question. Obviously, it was an excellent question, as it facilitated at least 47 seconds of quality content, so I feel I should at least be cited as a reference, especially since Dr. Boomstick isn't even a full Nels member. Thanks for being pretty darn great. Appreciate y'all from Wrecked Reese.
Yeah. Why was that? Why was that edited? Well, I mean, we do have to edit some out, don't we? Because it is getting mad at the moment. We're getting so many emails, and we appreciate them all. We read them all. Actually, not not the horrific abuse, but all the other stuff we appreciate. But yeah, I think we're at that point of our careers, Matt.
Oh,
we have to be a little bit selective. You know what I
mean? Stop the messages, please.
To answer the original question. This is really going to expose me as weird, but yes, I listened to the show back probably twice in the week after we recorded, and then probably again about 6 months later. I listened to old shows, and the only way that I could explain it is that I'm constantly trying to work out what's working and what's not working. What jokes are landing, what jokes aren't, what works, what doesn't, if we could change things up. That's the way I see it. But at the same time, I'm also fully aware that that's a bit strange. Especially, like, I worry, right? Because I use AirPods. And say what you want about them, right? They're all right. They're not worth the money. And also, the amount of times that they just go, nah, not connected. Not connected. If you want this to work properly, you have to reboot your phone.
What do you mean not connected?
Oh, right. Oh, okay. You'll put them in the ear and it just won't do anything.
I mean, maybe if it's low battery, potentially, but...
Nope. Fully charged. It just won't connect, right? So then you hit play on your thing, and it just starts playing out the speaker. and I've only accidentally played the computer game show loud in my office twice, and thankfully it wasn't me talking. So, which is mad, really, but it's what are the odds of that? But yeah, it's either been you or Sean, and I've gone and had to pause it quickly and then reconnect my fucking headphones.
Yeah, that has happened to me a couple of times, but yeah, I don't. Either once was me. But and then not necessarily the fact the AirPods didn't connect, but just accidentally playing the podcast in the office. One time was me, but it was so quick that I thought there's no way anyone would say, "Matt, was that your voice coming out of your?" No, there's no chance. So,
really,
yeah.
It's a pretty distinct voice.
No, well, no, if you hear you hear a voice across the office, you're not gonna think, well, that's Matt's voice coming out of a laptop.
It depends if it's your voice or not, Matt.
Surely they just think that you were like sat there talking to yourself.
Well, exactly, yeah, they're gonna think that.
No, because you've got the weird sort of like the muffled. No, not your voice. No, no, like the speakers make it all tinny and stuff, isn't it? So it's clearly not just you talking.
I just don't think anyone would twig.
Matt, they all twig.
And I don't think I would twig. If someone in the office played like a 2-second clip of them talking, I don't think I'd be like, that's a recording of them. I'll just hear a voice.
Okay, fair enough. But everyone in your office is thinking, oh my God, he's listening to himself talking on his headphones 24/7. That's all he listens to.
I mean, I do wear like TCGS like t-shirts and hoodies in the office.
Do you really?
But I mostly do that because
oh man.
Well, no, because no one is going to say, "Oh, is that your podcast?" Because it just says TCGS. Most people probably think it's like it's just a shit t-shirt. Or shit
they don't already know anyway.
I bet you're secretly hoping.
Only one person knows and cares. The rest don't give a fuck. So, it doesn't. It's not like it says computer game podcast on the t-shirt. It just says it just has that little logo on a hoodie.
You're definitely hoping that someone asks you about it though.
Yeah, 100%. You're sitting there just going, "Oh, this old thing." Ooh,
yeah. What's that logo? What's that logo on your t-shirt? I've not seen that before.
Oh,
this old thing.
Rolling his eyes, sighing. Oh, look! Oh, I've just eaten this jam donut, and some of the jam has gone on this logo here. Look! Oh, look at the. Oh, I'm going to have to wipe it off now, staring at them in the eyes, sort of just looking down briefly at the logo.
I do tend to actually wear the t-shirt or hoodie on Wednesdays on release day. I mean, but again, like only one person, John, listens to the show in the office. No one else cares or will probably ever listen to it.
What's up, John? How's it going,
right,
John? We've asked this while Matt's been working at other places before, but can you be our Matt Murray correspondent? Can you send us messages? You could DM me on Twitter. Send me messages about what he's up to. Little stories about Matt in the office. I'd love that.
Probably killing it in the marketing department, David.
Get a whole team together and give me little updates, little bullet points, and we'll work through them. Cheers for that, mate.
And where were we? Okay. I don't know.
We're on the feedback, Matt.
Yeah, we're on the feedback. Okay, we're going to start with next.
Matt is absolutely sweating it about this now because he knows that they're going to do it.
No, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's move on. Carl has emailed.
I thought you were going to say, do you know what I thought you were going to say then? I am sweating it actually because the quality of this hoodie is so high premium. Please go to TCGS.
I can basically only wear it for the first half an hour a day. After that, I'm like, okay, this is mental. I better take it off and wear. Oh no, wait! I've got a TCGS t-shirt underneath. That's the worst. That is so bad. It's like, I'll take this off. Oh no, it's the same brand underneath. Maybe a different logo.
That's a thing that you've actually done.
Oh yeah,
not on stage at EGX.
Yeah.
You've done that in real life.
Yeah, accidentally worn both, and I'm like, oh shit, I've taken one off, and there's another one. Oh well.
Oh god. Okay.
Also, I keep shouting out the URL as well, but that's a different.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. Good morning, TCGS. I mean, good morning. Sorry, John. Sorry, talking about the podcast. Now, Carl has messaged us on the PES eFootball debate. As a long-term PES fan, I can say that this has killed PES for good. PES 2021 is the best football game on the pitch of all time. That's quite a claim. If you have a PC and use one of the patches, it's an incredible game. Go look at the clips on YouTube. It looks and plays brilliantly. FIFA has the polish, the looks, and the hook of FIFA Ultimate Team, but as a football game, it's nowhere near as good on the pitch as PES 2021. I'm gutted to see Konami spend 2 years to make this. The build-up to release, the trailers, the promos have been like someone has taken the piss. All PES fans hoped 2-year cycle would end up with something incredible and moddable on the PC. Instead, we have what looks like a game in a 10-year-old, a game that a 10-year-old made, catering to mobile and microtransactions. All while FIFA seems to have taken a step in the right direction on next gen. I could go on and on about PES, but I'll just leave it here with the franchise I grew up playing and loving is now as bad and as unrecognisable as it's ever been. Yeah, that's really sad, because obviously there are hardcore PES fans, and I was, PES was life when I was younger, but just moved over to FIFA. But for those who have loved PES, it may not have been as popular as FIFA for the reasons that Carl's mentioned, but yeah, to see this now be the end point, it's like, oh, okay, great. It really is.
Well, we've said privately before is that the new FIFA is crap, right? I hate it. I'm still going to play it because we play pro clubs and stuff, but the fact that they haven't got any competition anymore is absolutely devastating because they're just going to keep turning out the crap. Like if a football game comes along and feels like football, then great. But FIFA's not that, and they're not going to change their ways until a football game comes and does that, and makes them make changes. It's not going to happen, and PES isn't going to do it. What a mess! What a mess of a launch.
There is another game coming out though. I can't remember what it's called, but I remember seeing teasers for like this, and I think I put it in our
that's
chat.
Right. Yeah, I do remember.
So
that.
Hopefully, we'll something will happen. But yeah,
it had a big developer behind it, didn't it?
I don't know. I remember them mentioning it's done in Unreal Engine, but I can't remember who actually was developing it. But we just need. Okay, do you remember the old days? Was it Actual Soccer, Virtua Striker? There's like 5, 6, 7 football games now. Everyone's just like, what's the point?
Sarah, you're a football fan, right?
I am not, I'm afraid. Well, I'm not.
Oh, you're not? I swear I've seen you tweet about it.
I'm not. I don't dislike football.
That was around England. Was that around the Euros, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I got really into it for like the World Cup, whenever the last one of those was. I got really into it for the Euros. I just don't have like a local club or...
Oh, you don't have a team?
Yeah.
Are we going to have to pick you a team?
Possibly.
Tranmere.
Who?
No. Yeah, should we send everyone to Tranmere?
Well,
that's who we did. That's who we sent Sean to. Sean didn't have a club, and we said, "Who's your local club?" And he said Tranmere, and we said, "All right, well, you support Tranmere then." And then we found out that their team nickname was the White Army, and thought, "Okay, right, maybe pick someone else." But Sean was bang up for it. He was like, "No, that's a great nickname." But that's Sean Bell for you. Okay, all right. We're gonna have to have a think about who you're gonna support. We got to pick you. We've got to pick you a good team. Right. I don't know why. I mean, if you don't like football, you don't like football.
I mean, it's definitely something like I've tried thinking about, but I'm originally from.
How far do you get?
Well, it's like
before you go. Nah, actually, no.
There's a very small number of teams that I actually know.
Okay,
so it's like,
go on. Let's start there. Let's start there.
And I feel like the obvious one is to go with like your hometown, right? Which for me is Portsmouth.
Yeah. Oh,
Portsmouth. Okay.
Okay. And they're not very good.
No, they're not. No, they were.
Yeah, but also they've been worse. Like what? They're League 1, League 2. I don't know.
They're League 1 now.
League 1, yeah.
I can't remember who's there. Is Kenny Jackett's not their manager anymore? Is he?
No, not anymore. No.
What a name that is, Kenny Jackett.
Yeah, just go to Portsmouth. You also get a bit more cred for going like a lower league side. Not like, well, my local team is Manchester City. That's good. You can see them work their way up.
Yeah, true.
Matt.
Yes,
your advice is ridiculous. You born and brought up in Bognor and you support Palace.
No, my family are from London.
Fair enough.
And they've all
but you're trying
Palace.
To say, support your local team. Support your local team.
Well, if we go with like local teams now, for me it's Palace.
Well, brilliant.
Oh God,
Tick.
Right? Okay.
I got my second COVID jab at their stadium.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay.
It's the weirdest stadium. We pulled into a Sainsbury's car park, and the football stadium's just at the edge of the car park.
It's a horrible stadium. It's a horrible stadium.
It is a location for Ted Lasso, so it's not that horrible. I think if anything, it's
who was supposed to be a joke of a football club. I don't know if you've seen it.
Great show.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you like flags?
Yes.
Okay.
If they've got
Palace are the club for you. Do you like the film Saw?
You do, don't you?
I do, but I'm interested as to where this line of question is going now.
There's a very famous. There's a very famous photo of Palace fans holding up a picture that they drew of the puppet guy from Saw with the words "Let the games begin" written underneath it in what must be the most cringe thing that I've ever seen at a football stadium.
Oh no, I quite like that. That's pretty good.
Okay, right. Okay, you're a Palace fan, which also means this is your last appearance on the show.
Over my dead body, David.
Sorry, sorry, everyone, for the football chat. Should we move on?
Yes, Rogie, evening all. Just want to say a big thanks for my shout out 2 weeks ago from Dr. Farley. I am pleased to say that I managed to complete the London Marathon in 4 hours, 1 minute and 47 seconds and raised over 3k for Birmingham Children's Hospital. Thanks to all those who donated. The highlight of the whole thing, apart from the shout out from James obviously, was passing a rather sweaty looking Mario about mile 20. Needless to say, my first question was, if TCGSCO were to run the marathon, which video game character would they dress up as? Love and hugs from a knackered but happy Rogie. Well, first of all, congratulations, Rogie. Not only is that amazing finishing the marathon, but raising money as well for Birmingham Children's Hospital. That's incredible. And that's a great time as well.
But let's get to who are you dressing as, Matt?
Who am I dressing as?
Bayonetta?
Well, no.
I mean that would be a good costume. Well, apart from the heels, you'd have to swap the gun shoes out for trainers.
You'd have to swap the gun heels.
The skin tight catsuit, that's actually not bad to run in. You're not going to have the shape.
That's a runnable outfit, right? But what if you changed the gun shoes for rockets? So when you get really tired, you could just sort of blast into the air for a mile or two. Is that how they work?
Yes.
That's how rocket shoes work, isn't it? I don't know. I've never
famously, yeah, that's how they work.
Yeah. Matt, you'd have to go with Sonic, right?
I was thinking about going as the Sega Rally arcade cabinet.
What, the 4-player one?
Yeah. But
people just trying to get around you.
Or I'll just find a way, because I absolutely love those outfits where it looks like the person's being held up, and you know what I mean? Where it looks like it's like a bloke.
Yeah.
And the human person in the suit is in a box, but it looks like, anyway, I want something that, but with a character. I don't know. Maybe.
I was watching a YouTube video of an Ipswich Town fan going to an Accrington Stanley game, and Ipswich had lost the game, and he was interviewing people in Arsenal fan TV style with a bear holding him, one of those outfits where a bear was holding him on his shoulders, and he just looked so upset because he'd just been beaten by Accrington Stanley, and he's interviewing people look like a little cartoon bear was holding him up. It's very funny. I would genuinely go similar idea, but it would be a Mario Kart one. So I'd have the cart by my waist or whatever, and I'll be Bowser in a cart, and then I'd just start lobbing green shells at people as they're running past. That's what I'd be doing.
I don't think you're allowed to take them into the London Marathon.
What, green shells?
Yeah, you can't.
Fucking, what has happened in this bleeding country? Can't even start bleeding.
What are you saying? Who would you dress up as?
So I haven't done the London Marathon, but I have done 2 of the Disneyland Paris half marathons where we had to dress as Disney well, we didn't have to, but we decided to dress as Disney characters. So there was one where I was Elsa from Frozen 2, where she has the kind of blue jumpsuit with the kind of frosty scarf skirt thing.
Yeah, I think I'd get that. Yeah, I understand.
Can't remember what I did the other half. Oh, the other half marathon I did as Maleficent. So I just had black leggings, black vest top, and a cape. I do not recommend running in a cape. I think I got about 2 miles in before I just chucked it in a bin because it was too annoying.
Really?
And then this.
Wait, what's annoying about it? Because it's tugging on your neck.
Yeah, and it was just real cheap as well. So I tied it to the straps on my vest so I didn't have to tie it around my neck, but it just got really annoying. And I think like the weather was kind of bad, so it just got wet and it was just like damp.
Yeah, it's just like running with a parachute on.
Yeah, it was just like damp and clingy and gross. But if it had to be video game characters,
if I was doing a Disney one, I'd go as the Old Man Is Up. I bet there was loads of that though, right?
There
Just
must
running
have
along
been
with a little walker with the tennis balls on the thing. Yeah,
there
I'm all
must
over
have
that.
been.
Yeah, or with a house raised by balloons and running along with that. I could do that. I could do that, I reckon. Yeah, fucking right.
Okay, but who out of... Okay, so based on your other co-hosts, who is the dog, who is the little boy, and who is the weird bird? If you're going as the old
Matt's
man.
weird bird.
What?
Matt's weird bird. It's a toss-up between the dog and... The dog's really happy all the time, so probably James. Just because it'd annoy him. Just him running around, and Sean would be the little boy. He looks like a little scout, doesn't he? Sean Bell.
I was
Did he?
I was going to say that maybe James could go as the old man, but I don't know if I should say that considering I haven't actually met him, so I feel like I shouldn't now start on James.
He is the old man. He is the old man.
Yeah, I mean,
you're absolutely right.
Factually, that is correct. So I think that's fine.
Yeah, guy, I love the fact that you squashed the beef with Matt and served up a prime steak for James Farley. Right, okay, go on. Next question.
Okay, Luke Summerhays, I always listen right to the end of the podcast. This is due to a combination of laziness and the FOMO that there might be one last funny little gag to chuckle in at the end of the show. Yes. And then there's some other PS and PPSs around like T800s and Invisible Woman. But, because we talked about the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
PS,
I think
the
we've moved
Invisible
on
Woman
from the
can make force
Fantastic Four
fields.
debate.
I mean, that's great feedback, isn't it? PPS, the T800 is the model of the robotic metal skeleton, whereas Model 101 refers to the Arnold Schwarzenegger skin it wears over the outside.
There we go. There's a little bit of Terminator lore for you.
Follow-up. That is great follow-up. Thank you, Luke. We're going to end with Josh Crow. Dear TCGS coffee makers, just want to hop on the bandwagon with regard to showering you with praise. Oh no, can't believe I left this one in there. I've been a listener since the JoyPod / Midnight Resistance days, and I've gotten so used to the dynamics between all of you that TCGS has easily become the highlight of my week. You've got me through the good times and the bad, and I cannot thank you enough for continuing just what you do. It really does feel like I'm having a chat with some friends, and the quality is invaluable. Also, seeing as Sarah is due to be on this episode, I'd like to say it's an absolute delight to hear her, and I appreciate the nuance that comes with a female perspective. Basically, the long and short of it is that as long as you're all doing a bang-up job, and as this episode is coming out on my birthday, I shall enjoy it a little bit more. Keep up the stellar work from Josh. Well, happy birthday, Josh Crow.
Happy birthday, Josh.
Yeah.
Saved 34 quid there. That's a lovely little move. Unlike, Bitched in Sync.
Just out of pure curiosity, how did you hear it? How did you find us, Sarah?
Okay, so it was like the first summer we were in lockdown, and I decided that I was going to start like going for walks, because for like the 5 months prior, I'd just been drinking and eating takeaway and not really doing a whole lot of anything else. Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna start going for walks.
Pretty good.
The glory days.
And I was like, I'm also gonna get into podcasts. So I literally just went on Spotify and just typed in computer game podcast, like computer games, into Spotify, and it was the first one that came up. And I was like, oh, I know Sean. So yeah, and started listening that way.
Have you tried any others? Please say you've tried Cane and Rinse and you hated it. Did you try Cane and Rinse and hate it?
No.
Shame.
The other one I listened to is Play Watch Listen with Alana Pierce, Mike Bithell, Troy Baker, and Austin Wintory, who did the music for Journey.
Oh, I will check that out. I've not listened to that one. But yeah, and I still listen to video game podcasts all day, every day. I'm still obsessed with them. But yeah, okay, cool. Are we done with the feedback?
We are done with feedback. If you want to leave us feedback, go to tcgs.co/deartcgs.
Okay. We know what time it is, and it's an exciting time. Oh, It's time for James Farley's attempt at an advert for Blue Yeti microphones. We ready?
Sorry, I've got something to say, actually. He messaged me saying I've got to say something.
Okay, what? Why is it why are all these allowances for James? Everyone else just played their advert. He's been fretting about this for 2 weeks now. He tried to bump Sean from last week. He just went, I want mine played. And it was like, well, no, it's Sean's turn. No, I don't want to be last. Well, it doesn't matter what you want, mate. It's Sean's turn.
Now
he's last.
James said to me, also, can it be made clear that I made mine at the same time as Sean's?
Right, okay. All right. I already don't believe that.
That's what I was told. And I think I said, I'll mention it. I'll mention it.
Let's give it a listen. Come on.
I've done the small print there.
Okay, let's go.
The world's #1 professional multi-pattern USB microphone. The Yeti's tri-capsule technology condenser microphones have 4 different pattern settings offering incredible flexibility. You can record studio quality vocals for music, podcasts, Twitch streaming, YouTube videos, or any audio projects that would normally require multiple microphones.
Blue Yeti, Blue Yeti.
With its unique and innovative design, the Blue Yeti can be ready to work in seconds. Sound quality can be optimised by adjusting and pivoting the mic, and it has easy control for muting and unmuting.
The Blue Yeti is both Mac and PC compatible with USB. It is equipped with 3.5mm headphone jack, allowing you to listen to the recording in real time.
So, head to bluemic.com and enter code YETIPOD15 for 15% off your new Blue Yeti and start creating and sharing now.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I did not expect that from James Farley. I'll be completely honest. That has taken me by surprise, that one.
I mean, I did expect a fat beat, and I think you've delivered.
I liked I like the real kind of ambient piano-y bits, like about halfway through.
Yeah, it was a bit experimental, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Also, you know, the message at the start about him recording this at the same time as Sean, I'm not so sure. He thought, I'll get the votes by getting the kids involved. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. There will be a vote on who created the best podcast, and that is the last Blue Yeti podcast at the moment. You never know. They might have loved those adverts so much that they sign up for a year instantly.
Oh my God, I'm not sure I can do 52 songs, but maybe I can.
I would like to thank Blue Mics for the Blue Yeti microphones for supporting the show. We appreciate y'all, and go and get your Blue Yeti microphones. Right? Are we done? We're going to news.
We are. Well, I'm still trying to get my head around that.
Matt, I know. I was going to be thinking about that for a long time. I'm afraid a long time. Should we get to the news? Matt, you're going to be the newsman this week, are you?
The news hound this week. It was, it was so good. I could just choose the news stories, what I thought are the biggest of the week. There wasn't no, this is boring and no one gives a fuck about this. I mean, I got to...
I did have to cut a few, though.
You did have to cut a few.
I did have to cut a few.
10 or 11 you had to cut. I mean, I thought we'd have a right old jumbo news. We didn't. It's fine.
A jumbo news, Matt. Is that your new name? Are you working a new nickname into it?
I don't know.
You're no longer the big gun, but you're the jumbo news, Matt. Okay, let's go.
Okay,
over to the studio for this week's edition of Jumbo News, Matt.
Jumbo News, Matt. We're going to start with Twitch having a major leak. Basically, data was exposed in this massive leak. Not just users' accounts and whatnot, although they have said that login details have not been leaked, but also like the earnings of streamers on the platform, even like source code for Twitch was leaked, and loads of people, not just Twitch, but OBS, which is like a streaming software, they're like, you should probably disconnect things. Lots of people were saying you should definitely change your password. I mean, this definitely encouraged me to change loads of my passwords because enough's enough. Twitch have said, I'll give it a quote, which I find quite interesting. We have learned that some data was exposed to the internet due to an error in a Twitch server configuration change that was subsequently accessed by a malicious third party. Our teams are working with urgency to investigate the incident. As the investigation is ongoing, we're still in the process of understanding impact in detail. We understand this situation raises concerns, and we want to address some of those here while our investigation continues. At this time, we have no indication that login credentials have been exposed. We are continuing to investigate. Additionally, full credit card numbers are not stored by Twitch, so full credit card numbers were not exposed. Yeah, it was a big one. This is even like on BBC
I felt a bit
website.
weird seeing this news, didn't you? Like, there's part of you that's like, "Ooh, I wonder how much they earn," but at the same time, it's like, "What? It's just none of my business, is it?" Do you know what I mean? Do you think that?
Well, like, all the stuff about this how much they earn, like that kind of didn't come out for a couple of days after. At first, I was like, okay, this isn't just there's been a leak there's been like a data breach on a website, which happens a lot, and then you're told to change your password and whatnot. This was even on like the BBC website. This wasn't just a leak of some information. This was source code. This was everything on the site. This felt like a massive problem. But it wasn't until a couple of days later where we actually also a hacker also published a torrent on 4chan which had information about not just the source code, but streamer payout records for like the top 100 paid Twitch streamers between like August 2019 to October this year.
Top 1,000, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? Well, okay. The thing I
because
100. But,
Ian and TLNA were on the list.
Oh, were they?
So you could see how much they earned. Yeah. And he said on his show that he believes, he didn't have the facts. He said it's there or thereabouts, but they earned a little bit more than what was suggested on there. But this is literally just earnings from Twitch, isn't it? It doesn't include, things like bits and stuff like that.
Yeah, it doesn't include deals, doesn't include sponsorship, doesn't include that. It is just literally Twitch stuff. But yeah, I mean, it will come as no surprise that there's a distinct lack of diversity in those top earning streamers. Men dominate the list. In fact, the top 20 are all male. Pokimane is 39th on that list, and so she's the highest earning woman on the platform. She's 39th, and the majority of these are white men. So what this league does, not only is it like a security risk and whatnot, it also totally shows a disparity between the top earning streamers and the marginalized streamers and other people on the platform. So this is also like a massive wake-up call, not only just because of all this information's out there, but it really does show in black and white, all these issues that are there in terms of a lack of diversity on the platform.
I feel like though, like, obviously, I mean, you obviously mentioned that it shows it in black and white, but it is one of those things where it's like, we didn't need this leak to tell us that.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, you're just saying things that are obvious from the moment you log into that website, isn't it?
Yeah. All it did was just kind of back up what has been guessed at, I suppose, and has been kind of theorized and discussed. This was, as you say, it was just very much like putting it out there in black and white, and it's like, oh, okay, all those things we've been saying, here's all of the solid proof for it in terms of, earnings. Because I think I can't remember what streamer it was who I saw a clip of or a quote or something from, and they were basically like, "Yeah, I'm one of the biggest streamers on the platform. Like, of course I'm going to be making money from it." I feel like some of the surprise, obviously, like surprise around the lack of diversity, fair enough, but I feel like the surprise around how much money some of these people are making, it's like, well, I just kind of assumed they were making like a lot of money.
Yeah. And then also you think about the fact that Twitch take half of this. I know, like, for your partner, the revenue split is slightly different, but for most of these, you know, they take, you know, this is half of what they earn because Twitch get the other half. So it's just think about that. Like, this is, you see a lot of these numbers these are huge numbers that people are earning, but then Twitch have earned all this in a month because they take 50% for, you know, for a lot of these.
Yeah, I mean, and it's what Sarah's saying though, isn't it? It's I mean, people with big audiences earn a lot of money. Like, that's just there's no surprise there. There's no shock. So anyone sort of pointing to that and going, "Oh my God, look how much they're earning," it's going, well, yeah, no, that's how much. Yeah, I failed to see the shock. Twitch is at a weird stage at the moment, isn't it? This year has been very strange for Twitch. I mean, they've had controversial moments, you know, in previous years. This stuff has been going on for a while in terms of, you know, how they're treating the people that use their service, bits and pieces like that. But this year really feels like a pivotal year of people just thinking, there was a time where Twitch felt like this real sort of upstart, you know, hidden away portion of the internet in terms of the mainstream or whatever, that people will go to watch people play video games. And now it's become, you know, this huge business, and it's been like that for a while, don't get me wrong, but this year just feels like there's some work to do here before this is a proper viable platform. Not in terms of business. This proves that as a business, obviously, they're earning a lot of money, but in terms of it being a sustainable, respected platform, I don't know, man. They've got so much work to do.
I mean, but there's no real evidence that it's not sustainable. Whether it's respected platform, that's another thing entirely. And
you think they can? You think they can continue acting the way they have over the past 2 years and be sustainable off the back of it?
I mean, I haven't seen like Twitch's bottom line. I don't know whether these kind of like, you know, a day off Twitch and other things really truly affect them. They're still in a position where these, you know, this list of our top 100 people are making bank, and they're getting that on as well. So I don't know what is going to be affecting them in terms of sustainability. Obviously, right now it's a little bit different because in the last 18 months or so, we've now had the new trend of, paying for exclusive Twitch contracts, people who sign to Twitch or people who sign to YouTube. So now they've got to use their revenue in a little bit different ways to actually guarantee or keep names on the platform. That may be the thing that ends there or affects their sustainability. But just looking at this doesn't really tell me anything. And they can have all the scandals they have, that they, you know, all the scandals every single week. And I'm not sure what else really going to do to them because so many people use the platform. We hope they will make changes as a result of that, but they're still making money hand over fist because it's still the dominant streaming platform.
I mean, you just have to look at YouTube. Like, YouTube has had so many controversies over the past God knows how long, from everything from how easy it is to find real, like, extremist content that is proven to be brainwashing people. Like, how easy it is to get onto that real kind of, you know, white supremacist, men's rights activism sort of stuff, through to how much they keep demonetizing, like, LGBTQ streamers and, you know, slightly sensitive topics and all that sort of stuff. And, like, the apocalypse, I think the creators were calling it, when they massively changed how some of, like, the monetization and stuff work. Like, YouTube has had just as, if not more, controversies than Twitch has, and every time there's been huge things of, you know, content creators going, well, we're not going to be on it anymore, and, you know, they're still going.
Do you know the saddest thing about all this is that there's some mad talent out there on both platforms, YouTube,
Guilty,
Twitch. Well, Matt, you've not been on Twitch for a while, you can no longer say that. But there's some great talent out there, and I just think wouldn't it be great if there was a platform that obviously no platform is free of controversial moments. Like I don't know if that's even possible, but to have less of it, or to have more of a way of dealing with it than say Twitch have, certainly over the abuse and the hate raids and stuff. It's just, I know it's a tricky situation. I know it is, but at the same time, responses could be so much better. And for the talent that's on there, they want to feel protected, right? They want to feel part of something. And when there's that gap there, it just, I don't know, it makes me feel a little bit uneasy. I used to look at Twitch and think, like, really get excited about it. But the more this stuff comes out, I kind of think, oh man, this just makes me feel a bit odd coming on here now. I don't know. I'm at a weird place.
The thing is, that also, we're like a massive, we're in an internet bubble. Like 99% of the viewers on there aren't really even have heard of this stuff. Like when we hear about things that Twitter does, or things that YouTubers or content creators or anyone does, like it's a massive thing that blows up on our timelines. But for 99% of everyone else, like they don't know. Like, oh yes, Twitch is that the thing where you stream games. Like they wouldn't have an idea that all these scandals and misgivings and things that they need to fix are happening on their platform. It's just that we see it every day because we're kind of part of that bubble, aren't we? So I can't see it I can't see it changing. I mean, this did go on the BBC News website. The fact that there was a massive data leak, but it's still not going to change anything, is it?
Okay.
Right. Next news story: EA is exploring the idea of dropping the FIFA name.
Exploring the idea? Didn't they register a new name today?
I mean, you're ruining the news, David. I was going to get to...
Okay, all right. Just making sure.
So they put out a blog post that basically celebrating ultimately like all the sales that FIFA 22's had. It's obviously sold incredibly well, etc., etc. But at the end of that, or near the end of that blog, just kind of dropped in the last paragraph, they say, as we look ahead, we're also exploring the idea of renaming our global EA Sports football games. That means football is in like soccer, not football. This means we're reviewing our naming rights agreement with FIFA, which is separate from our other official partnerships and licenses across the world. Obviously, at this point, people are like, what's it even going to be called? But today there was an update. I got this on VGC saying that Electronic Arts has filed multiple trademark applications for EA Sports FC, which could potentially be the new name for its FIFA football franchise should it rebrand the series, as it's currently considering.
EA Sports FC. That's terrible.
But the thing is, like EA Sports FC, I saw that even just like over the weekend, I went to town. That's a boring story. It's not. I went to the shops. And
well, okay, don't dwell on how boring it is. Let's get to the main
basically,
part.
in the window for maybe it's like Sports Direct or something, it had like a massive FIFA 22 like advert, loads of boxes showing the PlayStation like game and Xbox game, and they had like FIFA football kits which said it said like EA Sports FC on it. So this might not necessarily be the name of a game. It might just be.
Oh, I see.
They're trying to.
It might just be a club
brand out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually.
I mean,
yeah. Sorry, Sarah. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that it doesn't matter what they rename it to. Everyone will just call it FIFA anyway.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Totally right.
I think they will for a while. I mean, the people still call was it eFootball PES? Like they're still just calling it PES. I don't know. I think this is a power move. I don't think this is anything really. I think FIFA come up with a price for them to license the name for the next so many years, and it was ridiculous because we all know what FIFA are like.
Oh, yeah.
And I think EA are just saying, we literally don't need you. We can name it what we want because they're big enough now. They've got no competition. No one will really care. They'll still call it FIFA, as you say. I think it's just a bit of muscle flexing out in public at the moment.
Oh, it totally is. Yeah, I mean, if they called it EA Football instead of eFootball, I mean, no one would care. Everyone, like I said, everyone call it PES, and later they call it EA Football, and we'll forget it's called FIFA. It's in some ways, I have thought about this in the past. It's just weird it's called FIFA because FIFA obviously is the name of the football governing body, whereas it's also the game. But it's just so synonymous. Like, that's just the name of that football game. But if you think about it, it's the name of that governing body. It's not a name of a computer game. So I guess
what if they named it to something like...
But you've got like the Madden.
Yeah, you have got John Madden.
Yeah, but that's not Madden anymore either, is it? Is it still called Madden?
I think that is it's still called Madden, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Also,
that's weird.
What does FIFA stand for?
Oh my god. Is it Federation of International... No, Football... The Federation of International Football Association?
It's something like that, yeah. I mean, I could Google it.
Oh my god.
I feel like
how do we not know this?
I feel like you should know this.
Okay, yeah, so it's French. It's Fédération Internationale de Football Association.
Right, okay, I was close. I'm going to take that as a win on that one. I'll take that as a win. I stepped up first. I come up with
thank God you just about saved us.
They'd have given me that on catchphrase. They'd have given me that. But what I'd love them to like rename it to something like Fofu. Just so it sounds just slightly different.
Fofi.
Oh, you get the new
Fofi 23. I'm there.
I'll get a Fofi 23.
Well,
I'll get that. Do you want to go for Fofi?
I feel like they won't call it just like EA Football, because FIFA does sell in the US. Like, it doesn't sell a lot, obviously not compared to like Madden.
Oh, you're saying that they couldn't call it football because it's not a worldwide thing?
Yeah,
that still annoys me.
Unless they call it like EA Football, and then in the US it's called like EA Soccer.
Look, I've got nothing against Americans,
call it soccer
right?
worldwide, and it will make me want to kill myself.
Yeah,
EA Soccer.
I've got nothing against Americans. Don't think I'm having a go at Americans here. But when an American guy says to me, "Why'd you get so upset when we called it soccer?" and I go, "Well, because it's called football. You invented a game and just went, fuck it, we'll call it football.
Even though...
And now you're getting angry at us because you're calling our sport a different name. Yes, and I know the history of it. It's all football. Technically, rugby's called football as well. But also, you don't use your feet in fucking... Well, you do use your feet, but only for a little bit in American football, all right? Cool. Well, maybe we should come up with a different name for American football over here. And just start calling it that. What did you call it?
Ball.
Pro ball.
No, throw ball.
But what about when they run with it?
That's called Rumble. Now we're watching some Rumble. There's throw ball. It's kickball. Yeah, well, call yours what you want. It's football. We invented it. Now fuck off. Yeah, I think.
Did we though? Isn't that's disputed, isn't it? Didn't Scotland invent it technically?
Okay, well, call it football. I don't know. Actually, that wasn't a Scottish accent.
What was that?
No, that was a Scottish accent.
Right, we're getting into controversial tech.
I'm gonna have to bleep that.
I'm gonna have to watch a documentary on how football started now. But I sort of remember that it's split out into about 40 different sports at one point.
I wouldn't be surprised. It'll be soccer when it'll be soccer. Let's just admit that.
It would be EA Soccer.
It'll be EA Soccer. And whatever.
They'll never call it EA Soccer over here. They'll have like 2 different names.
You reckon?
Yeah.
No.
I can't.
It sounds like a bet. It sounds like a bet.
Yeah. I will quite happily take that bet.
We've got a bet.
I do not see them ever calling it soccer in the UK.
Sarah, so have you listened to the show while there's been a bet on?
I've heard mentions of bets.
Oh my
Sarah,
god, they're quite important.
Did you hear the time, Sarah, when I bet that there'll be a low-priced Xbox, and yet I lost the bet on some technicality bullshit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the technicality bullshit was when me and James said you're not allowed to. A budget console doesn't count. That was the
priced.
That is such fucking bollocks, and you know it. What do you mean a budget console doesn't count?
We played you, right? Okay,
let's not get into this.
I've definitely heard enough of the bets to know that all of you are sore losers and will find every loophole possible.
To be fair,
not lose a bet.
Only Matt is the sore loser.
James. Right, okay, this is the last time I'm going to explain this. When I say the Xbox will be cheaper than the PlayStation, and then there's a cheaper Xbox, and you're like, that doesn't count. Like,
right?
I can
right?
I can read the future.
What about, Matt?
The price is lower.
Matt? What about, Matt, when we made the bet and I played you the clip of you going, oh, what if they do a budget version of the Xbox? And I said, no, none of that is included. That's ridiculous.
I don't remember that.
Right, okay, I literally played it to you on the show. So I'll dig it out again if you want. We'll play it next week. We'll put it at the start of every show there for the next month.
Let's not waste Sarah's time. I think that sounds like bollocks, but yeah.
Right, so what's the bet between you two then? What's the bet? So if they rename... So this bet only becomes active if they rename it.
Yeah.
Sarah, you're suggesting that they will have different names for different territories, and you're saying it would be a worldwide name.
No,
is that the bet?
I bet that it will not be called EA Soccer in the UK.
Okay, that's good.
Implying that it will either have different names for different regions or a completely different name altogether. But they will not call it soccer in the UK or Europe.
Right. So the bet is they will not use the word soccer in the name for the new FIFA in Europe or the UK.
Yeah.
Right. Matt?
Well, my bet is they will have one global name and they can't call it football, whereas soccer is a global name.
No, that's not what the bet is, though.
I'm going to get fucked. I should remember, right, these words are going to be replayed in about 100 episodes' time, so I need to think about this.
Yep.
First of all, hello, Matt from the future. They're probably going to screw you, okay? So just, it's not going to instead a moment. Okay, what's the bet again?
So Sarah's saying that if they rename FIFA, they will not use soccer in the title of the new game in Europe and the UK.
Yeah.
And you're saying they will?
My thought was that they would have one name rather than two for different territories.
Right, but are you going to take Sarah up on that bet?
Should we bet that I don't think they'll have two names for different territories? And you think they will?
No, I'm not saying that they will have two names. I'm just saying because they might go with something like EA Sports FC. My bet is that soccer will not be part of the name in
Okay,
Europe or the UK, which can be which I will win the bet if it is either separate names for different regions or it's something like EA Sports FC and the word football or soccer is not in the name.
Okay,
Matt,
I've made my decision and I will politely decline this bet. No, I'm not doing it. Fuck, I said no more bets. I can't believe I was so close, Sarah. You almost had me there. You almost... No.
I think I've just heard how you guys do bets enough that I know how carefully I have to word it.
Well, you need to be careful.
Yeah,
but also...
I just need to make it ironclad.
No.
Can someone call KFC because they're missing a chicken?
Oh, wow. Well, maybe we should go Specsavers.
No, that's fine.
Because...
That's Matt, you... That's fine. It's fine. You're a big chicken. That is fine.
I'm a big... Yeah, let's move on.
Yes.
Rockstar has announced a Grand Theft Auto trilogy. It's been leaked and rumoured for a long time, and we finally got a confirmation that the Grand Theft Auto...
fuck all to them? By the sounds of it?
No. So GTA Trilogy, It's actually called Grand Theft Auto : The Trilogy - The Definitive Edition. It
Terrible name.
Will include Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City and San Andreas. And it will come out for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch and PC. And in 2022, it's actually coming to iOS and Android. No mention of a release date officially, but some people today were saying December. I can't remember if something leaked or whatever, but yeah, this is happening. In terms of what's being changed, they have said, let me get a quote here. They have said will feature across-the-board upgrades, including graphical improvements and modern gameplay enhancements for all three titles, while still maintaining the classic look and feel of the originals.
Yeah, I just kind of hope. part of me hoped for them to rebuild them, but then at the end of the day, I'd rather them just release a new one at that point. So I don't know. It's cool. It might be good. I'd really like to know what they do with the gameplay improvements, because as we know, those games were hard to play. Certainly when it comes to shooting, it was pretty rough. So hopefully they've smoothed that all out. Because I wouldn't mind playing San Andreas. It's the only one that I haven't played.
Really? I absolutely love San Andreas. You never even played it? Yeah, what happened after Vice City?
Okay, I put about 2 hours into it, maybe 3, and then I sort of lost interest.
Oh my God.
Completed GTA 3, completed Vice City 4 and 5, but yeah, I never got that far into San Andreas. I think it was, at the time, it was all of the exercising, go to the fast food place to eat. You know, it was all that sort of stuff, and I found it's like a little bit too much busy work.
That's one of the ones I love the most, actually. Well, I will say, what do you think about GTA?
I've never properly played a GTA.
Oh mate, that's a stream. Get on GTA 5.
Oh, no. See, GTA 5 is the one that I have played a little bit of, because me and a few friends were gonna play the online. And I think I got like 20 minutes into it and I had to stop because I hated the controls.
Oh, right, okay. All right. I don't think the controls in the main game are that outrageous.
This was in the main game, because you have to do like a certain amount of the main game to unlock the online.
You do that bit in the snow, don't you?
Yeah, so I did all of that like intro mission, and then when it goes to like modern, like the current day, and you're in the city, and you steal a car, and then the police start chasing you, like real early in. I
sounds like GTA to me.
Hated how the car's controlled.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
the handling
this.
of GTA vehicles, if you've ever played any kind of racing game worth half its, any half decent racing game, these control like boxes basically on wheels.
Yeah.
I've always liked it, because I've always liked it. It just feels like you could spin out at any moment and stuff. Yeah. It could get frustrating. In the older games, it could get really frustrating, because you spin out, you're kind of done, your car blow up or whatever, and you just be like, I was in the middle of a mission. But the checkpointing was a lot better in the later ones. So.
San Andreas was one of the ones I loved the most, because, and some people complained it was like too big, because you had the city, you had a massive kind of countryside area, you had, it was basically a huge game. But I absolutely love San Andreas. 2 other things around this that are worth mentioning. All existing versions of GTA 3, Vice City and San Andreas are actually leaving consoles, digital stores this week. So
okay.
They haven't given a date, but if you want to get these, get them now, because they're going to go, and then they'll obviously get you to get the enhanced version or the enhanced trilogy instead.
And have you seen the prices for the enhanced trilogy?
Nothing's been announced yet, has it?
I think what I saw them, they came from a leak from a retailer.
Okay.
Do you want to...
Aaron Retailer,
my favourite retailer. Yeah. I'm expecting a full PS5 price, but...
They are.
Yeah. I guess I'm not surprised. Am I surprised?
Really?
No, I guess I'm not. No, I just...
I'm a little bit surprised.
Well, did you think it was a budget release?
Let's see what work... let's see how much work's gone into them. I like to see what they look like and what changes they've made first before. But they are 3 very old games.
Yeah.
But it's 3 games. But it's Rockstar. I'm not surprised in the slightest that even if they did fuck all, like, hey, we released them on PS5 at 60 quid, that does not surprise me at all. On
PS5 it's 70.
Oh, okay. Right, that's
on PS5 and Series X it's 70. On PC, Xbox One and PS4, it's 60. I think Switch might be 60 as well.
We'll see.
It won't be set on Xbox, surely.
I'm always worried about commenting on that sort of stuff. Let's see what shape they're in and what price they're coming out at. But I'm interested.
I'm definitely
mainly for San Andreas.
Yeah. Another thing,
Vice City was so good.
Vice City was amazing. But speaking about Vice City, and I guess San Andreas too, is like what makes these games so brilliant is the soundtrack. And other people were commenting online saying, what are they doing licensing wise? Because often with all games, licenses expire, and that's why certain games have had to be pulled off stores in the past because the license expired. Now,
or the music gets changed because my boyfriend was playing Crazy Taxi on PC at the weekend, and that's just had all the music changed.
Does it? What does it still have the Offspring?
No. All the like license
Offspring's gone.
Yeah, all the like license tracks are gone, and it's just this kind of generic punk sort of video game punk type. It's not a bad soundtrack, but obviously if you're used to hearing, the Offspring, and it's now not
they've got the Offspring on there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I worked out, I'd be like, okay, just get the best cover band or cover bands to make all these artists and recreate the entire soundtrack with cover bands.
No, Matt, that's not how it works, mate. I mean, if a cover band comes in and makes a track from a real artist, the real artist still gets royalties for that. They wrote it, or they had to buy a license to do it. You can't just recreate the music.
Unless you play it live, and then you're fine. But yeah, if you're recording it and using it in any commercial way, then you still have to pay licenses, even if you're recording a cover.
Are you suggesting that they play it live and stream it to the game while people are playing it?
Yeah,
I'm suggesting all the cover bands from artists who did the Crazy Taxi soundtrack do a live gig, and that is streamed to. Yeah, that's what I'm suggesting. Yeah,
you imagine getting that job. Okay, you're going to cover the Offspring. We've got to stream it live to people playing it, so it's 24/7 around the world for the next 5 years. I mean, just constantly going,
I would go to that gig. I would go to a Crazy Taxi gig. That's a great soundtrack. You're not allowed to
go. Crazy Taxi gig. Okay, all right. We've talked this one to death. GTA Trilogy is coming out. Let's see what it looks like when they release stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm more, unless it's a disaster, I'm almost certainly going to buy it because I can't wait to see what it's like. And I loved it. I loved even GTA 3, let alone Vice City and San Andreas.
I'd like to know how well the humour holds up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I bet they've gone through that script with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah. Let's hope.
Okay, next, Sky is partnering with Microsoft on a Kinect-like camera. This comes because last week Sky announced a new TV. It's called Sky Glass. It's basically like an all-in-one TV. Doesn't require like satellite dish. Doesn't require a Sky box. And as part of that, you can buy a Sky Glass camera, and it looks like a Kinect. And they're actually working with Microsoft as well to create software for it. And you can say things like Sky Xbox, and it will turn your Xbox on. It's even got like games with it, like Fruit Ninja. Of course, there was a Kinect version of Fruit Ninja, and you can also like.
So they just had a bunch in a warehouse, didn't they?
God, I was just thinking that.
Microsoft's like, come on, Sky, we've got 2 million of these things. Do you want to create a camera for a TV? Yeah, go on in. I mean,
or Sky have just been round to loads of CEXs going, have you got any Kinects? We've got a bunch of games to trade in. We've got a bunch of Sky remotes to trade in. How much would you give us for these?
Yeah, I really want that.
Well, we've got to test them
2.0.
first.
So Kinect's back. You can also, using this camera, you can actually watch Sky with your friends. So again, like, didn't Kinect have that, where you can, like, using the Sky TV app on your Xbox or your Sky...
No, I think that was the idea. Whether it ever got to that, I don't know. But
no, it came out. All your Xbox avatars watching the football together. So Kinect is back.
The thing that we got out of Kinect, right, was that they should have made these consoles like Alexa boxes. Turn them into the Home Hub thing, where you can talk at it and it will play music or whatever. Sorry, Windy Pops. There's just the fact that Microsoft have just ditched that whole idea of voice controlling your Xbox is mad to me, because it was so good in that first 6 months that the Xbox One came out. Yeah, I don't think people want this. It's been proven to be a bit of a dud.
Yeah, especially, as you said, in today's age of like smart devices. I mean, this is one of the things we hoped for before new consoles were announced. It never truly happened. But have it so the pad or the console's constantly listening. And you can, not everyone is into voice commands, but a lot of people are kind of more used to it now with things like Siri and Alexa and whatnot. Like, just if I walk into the room, it's always listening. So, Xbox on or so on and so forth. I think that'd be good, but clearly they'd like, let's just focus on the games, because last time we went another direction with TV and Kinects and stuff, it didn't go right for them. So I guess everyone's just kept it simple, but I wouldn't mind that kind of stuff.
Yeah, weird, isn't it? All right.
I mean, I'll just say that I'll be all in on this if they release a new version of Beehive Bedlam.
Yes, Beehive Bedlam. Yes, I remember that.
If Beehive Bedlam was a Kinect game, there's a 99% chance it's probably on this.
It wasn't a Kinect game. It was on the Sky.
No,
it was on the original Skyboxes.
Oh right. Oh yeah. So I didn't have Sky back in those days because I was happy with 4 channels.
Nor did I. But like a family friend did, and every time I was around it, I was like, "Well, I'm playing Beehive Bedlam for the whole time I'm here anyway, so get out." Oh man!
What kind of game was Beehive Bedlam?
It was basically a puzzle bobble style game, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's in a beehive, and you play it on your Sky controller, like your Sky remote.
Beehive Bedlam music. This is gonna. Are you ready for?
No, don't.
No one's ready for this.
Oh my god! It looks worse than I remember.
Oh,
this is setting everyone back about 20 years. Like
here we go.
Flashbacks.
Here we go.
Sarah, you okay?
Do you know what? Do you know what's funny about that? Absolutely no nostalgia from that music.
No, it doesn't.
Absolutely didn't connect with me whatsoever. That I must have played it in mute. That did not raise any memories ever.
I don't remember it
at
all.
So weird. Yeah, that's what a disappointing point of the show.
Okay, next news story.
Okay.
Bungie has announced that the Destiny 2 Forsaken campaign expansion, which came out a few years ago, is getting removed next year to coincide with the next expansion called The Witch Queen. Sarah, over to you. There's obviously more details. They're basically they're vaulting Forsaken's like single player campaign. Not all of the content will disappear. Stuff like the Dreaming City destination and the Last Wish raid and some other stuff will still be remaining in the game. And you can also get like a Forsaken pack, which I believe will allow you to get some of the exotics from that campaign. But I think what mostly this means is the single player missions and stuff will be gone, will be vaulted, which basically means like put away somewhere else while this new content is in. We actually had a question, before you get involved here, we had a question about this as well, which will probably combine with a conversation from Wilma, question be answered. I wrote in a question was a month ago, which hasn't been read out. Okay, so no need to complain. Hearing you guys reminisce about your first Destiny raid, and have been wanting to ask again, do you think Destiny is a scam? I'm a long-time Destiny player. Like you, first completing a raid was an amazing feeling, but it had nothing. It had nothing when we first completed Vault of Glass and Crota's End Flawless. But my worry is their ability to completely remove content from the game, as well as block content previously available to play behind the DLC paywall, namely the planets and story missions recently removed, along with Nightfall locked by the next DLC. As a purchaser of the game, how much of it do we actually own? It's like buying a shark hoover and the company turning up to your house and removing different attachments, then asking you to buy the most recent version to have the attachment back. Love to know your thoughts, as always. Thanks for all you do. Cheers. That was for Wilma. But Sarah, obviously you're the hardcore Destiny player out of us three. What are your thoughts on the fact that they're taking content out of the game?
Firstly, when you say how much of it do we actually own, none of it. That's the case. That's the case with any live service online only game. Like you don't own any of it, and it can get shut down or turned off or have parts removed at any point, and that is the same with any like live service game. But I gave the Hoover analogy far too much thought earlier, okay. And it's actually more like. So Wilma says, it's like buying a Hoover and then the company turns up and removing different attachments. It's more like if you bought an attachment like 3.5 years ago, because that's how long Forsaken would have been out for when Witch Queen launches. 3.5, yeah, it was September 2018 it came out. And you used it for like the one thing, you used this attachment for like the one thing, and it was really, really, really good, but then you haven't touched it since. And now you find out that it's not very well made, and it's actually causing the whole rest of your Hoover and every other attachment on your Hoover to kind of run like shit. So And it's also taking up space that you can't use with other good attachments. Because basically, the reason
this just sounds like the old iPhone chargers. Do you know what I mean? They were great for a while, but fundamentally flawed, and now you've got to get rid of your old cables and get a new one.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the old cable no more. There's no point. You're not using it anymore. Let's get these new Lightning ones.
Well, that's the thing. So the reason. So obviously, this isn't the first time that stuff has been vaulted. When Beyond Light launched, Bungie vaulted essentially like the first couple of years of Destiny. Mars, Io. I can't even remember what planets got vaulted because I never went to them. So stuff has already been vaulted before, and a lot of content was just kind of removed. Basically, the reason why they're having to do it is because Destiny 2 has been built in a way that doesn't allow for this amount of content to be in the game. That's why previous to Beyond Light and previous to the first round of vaulting, if you hit pause to load up your menu, the menu would take like 2 minutes to load. And it's why just going to the tower, it would be like a 5-minute load time. And personally, I think it's down to... Because obviously Destiny 2 came out when Bungie was with Activision, and I feel like Activision didn't want Destiny 2 to last this long. So now they're kind of having to essentially fight with the tech behind Destiny 2 that, just isn't set up for this huge amount of content, because obviously Witch Queen is out in February, and then there's another 2 expansions at least due to come after that. What happens after those next 3 expansions, we don't know, but there's a lot more content to come, and they need to vault this content, or else the game just becomes a mess and it doesn't run. And by not having this, by not having all of this content in the game, it basically means, the game runs a lot better, but it also means it's much easier for them to create and introduce new content and new activities, and also fix things when things go wrong. So with Forsaken in particular, it is a shame because the Forsaken campaign is amazing. It is a genuinely, absolutely fantastic campaign, and I am sad for anyone who hasn't played it who will not get a chance to play it if they start playing the game like after February next year. But personally, I played it when it came out, and I have never once gone back and replayed it.
But, for like lore reasons, like if someone brand new started, or someone who played a while ago wants to come back and like replay it to catch up, and they can't. So is there not going to be like huge gaps, or when they removed the previous bit of single player content, was there anything put in place to almost like recap what had happened for the missing content?
Yeah, so now if you open up your director, which is where you pick, what planet you want to go to, there's a timeline. And you basically pick it like you pick one of the locations, and you can essentially read through all the kind of key story beats from each of the expansions right up to where we are now, and also all of the seasons, because the seasons, you get like 3 or 4 per expansion, and they have smaller stories within them. So you can just go through the timeline and catch up on all the story stuff. And it actually it makes sense to not have these really old campaigns, because obviously if you think of Destiny as like a persistent world, it makes sense to be playing through the story that's current, because that's what a lot of the worlds and a lot of the dialogue and everything is all kind of set up to support. So I guess if you're new and you want to kind of like play a little bit of everything, then it's great to go back and do all that stuff. But then also if you're a new player and you come in and you're like, man, I've got all these expansions to do to catch up to what's happening now and to catch up to how the story is now, that's obviously a huge ask for like a new player as well.
So then removing it, it's just like, you don't have to go through that stuff anyway, but for old timers, maybe, I remember that Forsaken, but for most people, you don't even need to bother anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Bungie have got all of the analytics which show that no one is playing the Forsaken campaign. So, if there was still an absolute ton of people playing it, and if tech-wise they didn't have to remove it. Because I've seen a lot of people talking about, like, oh, they're going to get it, it's going to get removed and then it will be sold back to us as DLC. They would make more money keeping it in the store as an expansion as it is. Like, there's not... They wouldn't be removing it if they didn't have to, but unfortunately they do. Yeah. So, like, it is a shame, but it's a necessary shame.
I could be wrong, but isn't it one of those situations where if you're into Destiny at the moment, if you're playing Destiny at the moment, you've almost definitely played Forsaken, and if you're coming to it fresh, then you're not going to miss it anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like you're going out to buy the Forsaken DLC at this point when you're just starting out on Destiny.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, if you buy Destiny 2 now and you've never played it before, you've got the New Light campaign, which is essentially like the kind of onboarding brand new player one. Then you've got Forsaken, then you've got Shadowkeep, and then you've got Beyond Light, and then you have the seasonal storyline for Season of the Lost, which is the current season. So that's a ton. If you buy it when the Witch Queen comes out, you still have New Light, but then it all kind of shifts forward. So you have Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, and Witch Queen. So there's always like 3 expansions worth of content.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think this is. I mean, they were open about doing this a while ago. We all knew that the Vault was a thing.
Yeah.
So I think maybe this is a bit of a storm in a teacup.
Yeah.
Do you think are they working on it technically? So in the future, any future expansions will be able to be kept, or that is that a Destiny 3 thing? Has there been any talk in the community or from the Bungie themselves about whether they're actually changing things in the back end to make it more accessible for more content, or are they happy with this as it stands?
I definitely think that they don't want to be doing all this like content vaulting. I honestly think they've never really explicitly said we just have to do this a couple of times and then things will be fixed. From the way they've described it, it sounds like the entire like bones of the game would need to be completely changed.
Wow.
And obviously we've got no idea when that'll happen. So obviously we've got Witch Queen in February. They've then confirmed that there will be 2 more expansions after that, Lightfall and The Final Shape. And the way they describe it is that those 2 expansions ending in The Final Shape, that will be the end of the Darkness and Light story arc. As to what happens after that, they've not said anything. Destiny won't be ending, but whether there's a new story arc within Destiny 2, whether we get Destiny 3, whether they close down Destiny 1, because Destiny 1 still runs, you can still go and play Destiny 1, whether they close that down and then Destiny 2 just becomes Destiny and they massively rework its entire structure. Yeah. No one knows after The Final Shape. So that's another 2 years, so that takes us up to what? 2024? So yeah. No idea after that. But I mean,
it's interesting.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, and I mean in terms of the vaulting, the only way it's going to actually really affect me as a player is it means I don't have to go to the Tangled Shore to go and see the vendor there anymore, because they're just going to roll his inventory into a vendor in the tower. So I'm actually kind of happy about that.
Yeah, it means like less travelling to random planets where you can just stay in a tower and do it instead.
Yeah, exactly. And they're keeping the Dreaming City, which is like the best destination in the game. So yeah, as speaking entirely personally, like as a player, I'm fine with it.
Nice. Okay, next bit of news. EGX 2021 was this weekend, and today they have announced that next year there will be 2 events. There'll be EGX Birmingham, so there'll be an event back in Birmingham, and that will be the artist formerly known as EGX Res. So EGX Res is no more. EGX Res, but if you're not into it, that was the indie-focused event that happened in London at Tobacco Dock. Much smaller event than EGX, like the bigger EGX in September, October time. But amazing. Tobacco Dock was a great venue. It's quite cold, but it was a great venue. And it was awesome to just say focus more on indies. That's now gone to be replaced with an event.
It was quite cold.
Yeah. Do you not find Tobacco Dock quite cold most of the time?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it was a weird little detail to just chuck in.
Oh, just what I mentioned it.
That's not the first time I've heard that it's really cold, but I've never been.
Yeah, just imagine a cold place. Because open your fridge and you're halfway there.
It's not that bad.
No, but it is. It's chilly.
No, it's my favourite venue, especially when it comes to doing live shows, because you had the big glass walls and everything, and it felt. It was just they were nice rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that they're going back to Birmingham as well, because again, personally speaking, in terms of live shows, we were in a little separate room to record our podcast. Whereas EGX in XL, we were out on the show floor, and it was practically impossible to do. So, if we are invited back to do live shows there, then I like the idea of Birmingham.
Yeah. So EGX, I don't know if I actually confirmed the venue. It says it just says EGX Birmingham here.
I think
that might not be the NEC.
I think everyone's kind of assumed it's the NEC.
Yeah, everyone has assuming that. Yeah.
That's a big old venue for the Res though, because Res is a lot smaller.
Yeah,
maybe it isn't.
So what they've announced is, so EGX Birmingham is formerly EGX Res, and that's in March next year, 3rd to the 5th of March 2022. EGX London is a larger event, that's 22nd to 25th of September next year. But what they've said is, following fan feedback from Birmingham's large, passionate gaming community, EGX has made a decision to return to the region in 2022 under a new name, EGX Birmingham. This show will lean on expanding the Res zone, which was like the indie aisle, the indie section of, say, standard EGX, expanding that with all the beloved indie games from EGX Res traditionally delivers, but will also meet the need for AAA publishers to showcase spring releases.
Right, okay.
So
EGX Birmingham, the thing in March, the replacing Res, it will still house a lot of indie stuff, but also it'll also have AAA. Sorry, Sarah, I interrupted.
No, that's all right. The way I kind of interpret what they're saying. Oh, also, at the top of the page, it does say 3rd to 5th of March 2022, National Exhibition Centre.
Oh, right. Okay.
So,
yep.
But yeah, the way...
What on Matt?
Okay, well, it's no need to mention that, Sarah, on the show, but...
No.
I'm glad you did, and thank you for that.
Yeah, just because to be honest, it doesn't actually say the venue anywhere. It's literally just in that like top banner, which is kind of
give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
well,
like they don't make it clear. But yeah, the way I kind of interpret this is that it's going to be EGX, just early in the year and later in the year.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about EGX 2021 if you want in this bit. Because we both attended.
Yeah, we did.
So you went, were you there for 1 day or 2 days?
Just the 1 day. I could have gone on, because I went on the Friday, I could have gone on the Saturday, but instead I didn't.
So how did you find, how was your experience?
Because
this has been interesting, right? There's been a lot of reports about how scaled down it was this year, how strange it was that there wasn't any, there was no presence from any of the big three. It was very spaced out.
Yeah.
There wasn't any major AAA new games being showcased there. And I had a very unique experience, so I'm interested in yours. Have you been to EGX before?
So I went to about 3 or 4 years in a row at Earl's Court.
Right.
And then I didn't go to any of the Birmingham ones, just because, Birmingham.
Sean's
wow, that is gonna cut deep on anyone above the M25.
I think it ran in Birmingham when I lived. Yeah, it ran in Birmingham when I was living in Edinburgh. But I think it just never made sense to go to Birmingham.
A lot of people say that, actually.
So, and then I went in, but when it was at the Excel in 2019, so the last one, like pre-COVID. So I've been to a lot of them. I mean, I'll preface everything I'm about to say with, the beginning of this year, so many of the big AAA studios and publishers came out and said, we are not doing in-person events in 2022. 2021, I forgot what year it was.
Time is non-existent at the moment.
Yeah.
It's fully understandable.
It's a liquid at the moment. So loads of companies said they weren't doing events this year. And from what I've heard, the team behind EGX, I can't begin to imagine how hard it was to put this year's event together.
Gotcha.
With so many of those big usual guests not appearing. Must have been an absolute nightmare. And obviously, we are still in a pandemic, so massive props to all the studios and developers who did turn up. And that's the thing, working big conventions like that. I've never worked a games convention, but I've worked vape conventions a couple times. And
what are they like?
Oh, imagine all the sexism from games conventions 15, 20, 25 years ago, but 4 or 5 years ago.
Really? For vaping?
Yeah. I did one in Birmingham and one in London. The one in Birmingham literally had this girl wearing a bikini and stripper heels, clear platform stripper heels, and nothing else, being led around by these two weird middle-aged men in t-shirt and just making her hand out leaflets. It was really unsettling. It was really creepy.
That makes me want to get that one. Did they just give out e-liquid? Is that the idea? What are you doing?
You buy e-liquid, you buy mods and tanks, and they're very strange. They are strange.
Did
events.
They have did they have a state? Did they have a live podcast where they're talking about flavors and that?
I mean, you're joking, and there was big. The one that I went to in London had some quite big names in the vape content creator scene.
Huge vape clouds.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to. The one in London was a kind of smaller venue, and they had to get these massive industrial fans to kind of clear some of the vape.
I mean, surely Tobacco Dock, right? Because
that would be a good venue for the vaping convention. To be fair, perfect, because it's all open, loads of places open there. But,
very cold.
Okay, right. Sorry, we got sidetracked with the vape stuff, but
working those events is hell. Even before all of this. So again, nothing but respect for, the people who did turn up and did work it and did try and put something on, and for everyone at EGX who did kind of struggle, because from what I've heard, it was a bit of a struggle to put this together. But again, speaking entirely personally about my experience, I played one game.
What game though? Was it Minecraft? What game?
No, it was Kiwi.
Oh, I wanted to play that, but Harry didn't. I had a whole different experience, but we'll get to that. So, was that any good?
Yeah, Kiwi's super fun. It's a less stressful, but still kind of stressful. It's not as bad as Overcooked or Moving Out. Those games I can't play because I find them genuinely stressful, and I get genuinely angry with people not doing what I want them to do. But Kiwi's kind of fun. Other than that, though,
they're really good fun.
I just didn't play anything, because the over 18s bit had Deathloop, and it was well, my boyfriend's got that, so I can just go and play it at his house. And then it had a bunch of like Game Pass games, and it was like, well, I've got an Xbox and Game Pass. I can go play that. Baldur's Gate 3 had like the biggest booth, but it's a game that looks good, but I didn't really fancy like queuing for it for as long as it needed. But there was obviously the Fall Guys Stumble Mountain Blunderdome, whatever it was.
Did you go for it?
I saw it on Instagram stories, and I was like, that looks really fun. Let's go and do that. And then I took one look at it and went, oh, I'm going to take one step onto that thing, and I am going to go flat on my face. So I didn't. But
I lived that reality.
Yeah,
I lived it.
Oh no,
I absolutely stacked it on there.
How long did you queue for it? Because a few people that I was with decided to queue. We wandered round. The rest of us sort of wandered for about like 15, 20 minutes, came back, and they'd moved about 2 meters.
Oh, really? No, I was about 10 minutes.
That's
but
not bad.
Because it was the Sunday, so it was a lot quieter than it was the other days. Apparently Friday, Saturday, they're busiest ones. I mean, right, let me get this out of the way. My view of EGX 2021 is very unique. And I'll make it very clear, didn't pay to get in. I went there simply to view the expo through my son's eyes. 7-year-old boy who was extremely excited to be there. Like, it blew his mind. I didn't let him know where we were going until we'd arrived. And because what happened, right? I was sitting at work last week and I was thinking, oh yeah, it's EGX this weekend, because I saw a few people tweeting about it, and we got offered press passes, but none of us took them because we weren't doing a live show there this year. And I just thought, hold on, I could take Harry for like his first gaming expo. So I sent an email and said, yeah, we'll accept press passes. Can I take my son, a 7-year-old son? We got there, and the first thing that was great was that we went into the room to collect our press passes, and the person that gave them to us looked at Harry and just went, do you want to be a YouTuber for a day? Like, are you interested in being a YouTuber? And he was like, yeah. He was like, well, here's a content creator pass rather than a normal press pass or whatever.
That's amazing.
Oh, it was hilarious. Some of the people in the queue were looking at Harry and just thinking, right, so he's a content creator. So what? And a few people went, so is he a YouTuber? I was like, yeah, YouTuber, yeah. I'm actually just here to cover him attending, and all this sort of stuff. He's 7, right? So there's no way, but it was quite funny. But seeing it through his eyes was actually pretty amazing. Going through the retro zone, and he was like, oh my God, this is like, he was playing like Mario 64 and like old Mario games on the actual systems, and talking to him about all that stuff. Then they had a whole section with loads of arcades that were all on free to play. So he was, he hasn't played old school arcades, so he got to play a few arcade games. Pinball, never played pinball before. They had a whole pinball section, so he had a few goes at that. Really enjoyed that. How we always like rolling our eyes at going, oh my God, who comes to a convention to play Minecraft? Well, a 7-year-old kid who loves playing Minecraft goes to a convention to play Minecraft for a bit. He loved it.
Grow up, mate.
Yeah. But the most awkward bit was the Fall Guys thing. So we queued up to play Fall Guys, and we had a few games of Fall Guys duos, but Harry loved it because we had these headsets on with the microphones right next to our mouth, so we could we were chatting to each other over the headphones, and he just thought that was hilarious. And then we went to Fall Mountain, which, if you haven't seen it, it's this really steep slope that you had to climb to the top of, but it had like one of those travelator things from the Gladiators on it, where it was like, going in the opposite direction. So you had to climb this treadmill for, firstly, the staff there just went,
mate. It's a travelator.
Yeah, the staff there said, 4 people have been sick on this thing so far this weekend. I was like, oh my God,
that's what
really
that was.
bad.
Okay. I wonder what the carrots was around here.
So I was like worried about it because Harry went, please, can you go on it? Please, can you go on it? And he couldn't go. You had to be over 16 to go on it, right? And I was like, oh God, I know that I'm unfit. There's no way I'm going to make it to the top. When we got there, we queued up. And I went, right, okay, I'm going to give this a go. And they said, right, you put you in a team of 4. And they said, right, you need to try and get up to the top as many times as you can in 2 minutes. And I was like, what? You don't just get one go, and if you either fail or you win, like, is that not the thing? They went, no, try and you got to go up there as many times as you possibly can, and the winner is the one with the most crowns in their basket. And I was like, oh my God, what? I did not sign up for this. So our first team member went straight up the top, no problem. Second team member went, same thing. Third, same thing. Harry's got the video out, shouting, come on, Dad. And I started running, planted my first foot on the travelator, and I just stumbled to the floor, like proper stacked it in front of him, right? Anyway, I had 2 more goes. The next 2 goes, I made it to the top. I was well proud of myself. Completely fucked my knees up, but I'm well proud of myself, right? Anyway, when we got home, I checked the videos, and so I watched the video that Harry took of me failing, and then I watched the second video of me actually doing it. But before I start running up, I could hear Harry behind the camera go, here goes nothing. I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Totally. Yeah, but he went nuts when I got to the top, so I was well happy with that. But I don't know, man. Like, yes, I can fully understand why people were disappointed by EGX this year. Yes, it is completely understandable, but that doesn't mean that people can't be disappointed with it. You know, I've seen a lot of tweets, people getting, venting their opinions on whether it should have gone ahead or not. And my experience of EGX 2021 is not very valid for people to listen to and see it as a true reflection of it, because I was in that situation where didn't pay to get in, was looking at it through Harry's eyes. But my word, did I have a fucking blast all day. It was so much fun. Just sitting there and doing stuff that I normally wouldn't do at these things, because usually we're running around trying to play AAA games to talk about on the show, or just hanging out with friends and stuff. Whereas like this year, it was all about just watching Harry go around trying things out and taking the atmosphere in and everything. It was mad. I loved every minute of it. So yeah, it's not a valid opinion though, is it?
Well,
no, it's a different opinion. It's not valid.
Well, I mean, I didn't pay to get in. We went as like a work trip, because this was the kind of first time since the lockdown that our entire marketing team was all in one place. So yeah, so we all went to EGX. And yeah, I mean, I still had a good time hanging out. We all went and watched a friend do a careers talk, which was really nice. And yeah, I mean, everyone seemed to be having like a real good time. Bumped into a few people who I've like known through Twitter for a little while, but haven't seen in person. Yeah, it was really nice. And to be honest, when I say I only played one game, I think if you added up all the games that I played over EGX over the years and averaged them out per convention, it's probably like 2 or 3 games anyway. I don't tend to play a lot because, and I think this EGX really drove home why I don't play a lot of games at these things, because obviously a lot of the indie games, and it seemed like a lot of the indie games this year were kind of conversational.
Oh my God, you're so right.
You're so right. Point and clicks or dating sims or like the casino simulator game, and like I'm not bad mouthing those genres at all, but for me personally, I can't sit, I've got ADHD. I can't sit down at a noisy, busy convention and play this conversational game that's going to take like 10-15 minutes to get going, and then another potential like 10-15 minutes to see to the end of the demo, or sometimes it's even just the full build and you can just keep going as long as possible. But yeah, I can't sit down at a convention and play a game for like half an hour unless it weirdly hooks me right away. Like in 2019 I played... Can't remember. Oh, I've got the business card right in front of me because all my business cards from when I went to EGX in 2019 were still in the bag that I got out to take to EGX this year. Lord Winklebottom Investigates. It's like the posh. I think Sean play it on stream?
That, yeah. He might have played it on a stream. Yeah.
It wasn't a giraffe, wasn't Lord
it's
Winklebottom a giraffe?
It's a giraffe and a hippo. And for some reason at EGX 2019, I did sit down and play that for like half an hour. But it's rare that I can do that. I want to queue up and just like put me in a mission where I can just like shoot guns for 10 minutes with my friends and then go do something else where there's like magic and explosions and, you know, like I feel like so many demos at EGX aren't set up to be demos at conventions. I feel like they need to drop you in at a point where, you know, you've got a load of a slice of right in the middle of the game and not play the game from the beginning and it be really slow.
So this was what really opened my eyes, because I'm walking around with Harry and we had a game at a Hot Wheels game and we were playing the arcade stuff, Fall Guys, all that sort of stuff. But what I said, Harry, come look, let's go to the Res area because this is going to have like loads of like really cool games in it, because they are, you know, as you say, the game, it's not a reflection on the game at all, because I love games like that. But when we walked around it, I was like walking up to one. Oh no, this one's about the certain war, and this one is it's all very story-driven, emotional stuff. And I was just like, oh yeah, okay, there's nothing here that you're going to want to play, is it? And he was like, no. And then we went back to playing on the N64 or whatever. So it was that was it. That was a bit of an eye opener for me, because the Res area is usually my favourite area. It's where I pick up a load of indie games that I'd never heard of before.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
that was not a good area for him.
No.
He was not interested.
Well, I mean, I was the exact same. Like, Kiwi was really good and fun because, you know, it's you pick it up and you know exactly what you need to do because all the prompts are on the screen. The levels are like a couple minutes long. So yeah, you sit down, you play a game or two. Cool, go do something else. It's like in 2019, the Final Fantasy VII remake was so good to play there because, you know, we actually booked time slots to go, so we didn't need to queue up for like 4 hours or whatever. And yeah, you went in at your time, you sat down, everyone kind of went in and sat down at the same time, and it was a 20-minute chunk of the game, not from the beginning. It kind of happened like, I think when you play through the game,
just as you're getting into with the boss at the end.
Yeah, it's like with the Scorpion boss at the end. So, you know, it sets you already a little bit into it. It gives you all the sort of character setup you need to be able to get through to it. And it's just like, cool, just do this chunk. Cool, you done the chunk? Right, up you get, off you go. Like, yeah, it was very obviously designed, you know, as a small little chunk that you can play at a convention, without all the explanation or anything like that. And yeah, I feel like a lot of indie games don't have that, which, you know, I mean, I personally know people who can sit down and get immersed in these kind of story games or these sim games and play them at a convention for like 20, 30, 40 minutes and be like, man, that's really good. Like, I'm going to go home and pre-order that. But for me personally, I can't do that. As I said, like, I just want 10 minutes of shooting guns and then let me go do something else.
I don't know whether, you know, fuck it, I'm just going to say it. I also feel really awkward when the actual devs are there as well.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It always puts me off a little bit playing it when the devs are there because, you know, you don't want to upset them. Genuinely, like, that's the feeling I get. I don't want to, like, if I sit down and start playing a game and the dev's behind me and I'm like 5 minutes in going, oh no, this isn't for me. Like, I don't want to then get up and just go, not for me, walk off. And Matt, they had, I don't know if you noticed this, Sarah, but one of the games had like FaceTime set up.
Yes, yeah, there was
Really?
quite
right
a
next
few
to the
like
computer.
that.
So you'd sit down and the dev was on FaceTime. And you were just...
How? So the dev wasn't there? The dev were...
Yeah, it was...
No.
Yeah, it was all... It was also like the devs could be there without being there. So yeah, essentially they had... I think it was all running through Discord. But yeah, some of them had another screen with a camera so that you could... When you sat down to play the game, you were essentially on a video call with the
that
developer.
That is a social anxiety mess for me.
Yeah.
Like, there's no... I just walked past someone. I actually waved to them.
Oh, God,
So
I didn't do
gave
that.
them a wave.
I didn't...
But I just felt awkward because I stood there looking at it, reading it, going, what? And then I looked over at the screen and saw them looking at me, and I was like, oh, hello, I'm going to wave, but I am also going to walk off now because I can't handle that.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I'm the exact same, like, you know, so it's very, very easy for me to be like, oh, let's play this. Oh, no, wait, no, I'm bored and I want to go do something else. So I know that if I sit down and I get into a conversation or, you know, the dev starts kind of talking to me about it and my brain goes, nope, not interested, go do something else. The social anxiety side is like, well, I can't just get up and walk out. I'm going to have to very politely talk to them about the game. And again, like, this is all... everything I've just said about all of the demos and the conversational indie games and not wanting to talk to devs, like 1,000% that is all me. Like, it is absolutely like, I do not want it to be taken as any kind of slight on any of the developers, any of their games, any of how they like interact with people. It just for me, it's not a good environment for me to sit and play a game.
Oh, yeah, that. Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same. But in short, I mean, yes, it was a scaled down EGX. I still had a really good time, but I'm sure, you know, the EGXs that are being planned for next year, hopefully things calm down with everything, and we'll see it slowly returning to, you know, the convention we love. Like, we love that convention. We've been going for years, since it was called the Eurogamer Expo. I think we went to the first one. You know, we've been podcasting there since God knows when, Matt. I can't remember the first year we did it, where we plugged in our laptop on the show floor and nearly got turfed out.
Yeah, I think that was 2015. Maybe
it was
it was going...
No, it was earlier than that.
Yeah, it was going way longer than that.
Yeah, I think it was the one.
Okay, so EGX Leeds, which was year one, it's 2009.
Yeah. So that was the one we were at. No, EGX Leeds.
Well, no, because it was both Leeds and London that first year.
Yeah. Okay, so it was that one then. That was the first one we did a podcast from, because the second one we went to was we got a booth to record our podcast, and that was the one Heavy Rain was at, and that was released in 2010.
Oh yeah.
So working backwards, we were podcasting from the first one. So that's a bit weird.
When you say podcasting, you mean we were being told off for stealing electricity from year one?
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely correct. That is that's what happened that year. Oh God, that was so cringe. Fine.
I think I was at 2010.
The one with where you could go downstairs. It was like there was so many different floors.
Oh, I don't know.
And Heavy Rain kept breaking because it was so hot.
It was too hot, wasn't it? In the 18 plus area.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's right. It was so hot down there.
So hot.
Yeah, it was proper hot.
Okay.
Love the 18 plus area. Right. Okay.
It's been 2 hours and we're on the last news story. And Metroid Dread is the UK's best launch in the series to date. So Metroid Dread came out on Friday, and it's basically gone gangbusters. But the fact is also these sales are just box sales, and it's already basically pretty much beaten Prime 1, even without digital sales. It sold 3 times the amount of copies at launch than Metroid Samus Returns did on the 3DS in 2017. I guess I'm not surprised. I mean, I know like Metroid's never been a massive seller compared to things like obviously Mario and Zelda, but it's reviewed really well, and people were hankering after a new big kind of Nintendo game. So, but it's great. It's done well. even with Kotaku's best efforts to fuck that up. But
yeah, well, okay. Let's see, as we are running really long today. Let's get straight to it. Matt, you've been playing Metroid Dread, right?
I have actually, yeah.
And you've been playing it on a Switch OLED, right?
On a what, sorry?
On a Switch, the new OLED Switch. You've been playing it on that, right?
No.
Matt. I know you fucking have. Why are you saying no? I know you have.
Okay.
I was sitting there today. Sarah, on the bus on the way to work, and I was thinking,
Still on the bus.
Oh, Matt, yeah, I'm always on the bus, mate. It's a fucking nightmare at the moment. These people queuing up for petrol is just slowing down the bus. I was sitting there thinking, Matt has not mentioned anything about the OLED Switch all week, and he's not mentioned anything about Metroid Dread. Oh yeah, of course, he's bought an OLED Switch and he's bought Metroid Dread.
No, I mentioned that I cancelled my pre-order a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
and I sent a couple of
tweets
you bought
an OLED
saying,
Switch?
Oh, just because it's got 9s and 10s, I'm going to buy Metroid Dread, am I?
Right, okay, fine. Have you bought Metroid Dread and an OLED Switch?
Yes, I have.
There we go. I fucking knew it. I
am the worst. This is what I would call a TCGS embargo, in that I haven't tweeted about it. I've wanted to share pictures, I haven't, but yeah, I just thought I'd save it for the show. But yeah, what's funnier is that James has been desperately saying, "I bloody really want an OLED Switch. I can't. This is sold out in Germany, or can't get this in Germany, or." And I'm like, okay, yeah, fine, yeah, good. Anyway, but no, I was fine, right, until I listened to.
He's got one, right?
Huh?
James has got one now.
Yeah, I know.
Or at least he's ordered
one.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. After all that about, no, I've cancelled it now, I'm not going to get one. Yes, you are, James. And he's finally got one, yeah. So he's just as bad, really. So why? Why did you get an OLED Switch?
I was, I had a pre-order ages ago, cancelled it. I was like, no need, this is silly. I've got other things I need to be paying for. And then I listened to Tamor on Kind of Funny talk about both Metroid Dread and the OLED in one episode. And it just broke me, and I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe
a game that you didn't even like the original of, and you've not only bought that game, you've bought a new system to play it on.
But yeah, I thought, well, I can, and I'll tell you what, I'll sell my current Switch. But that didn't go according to plan either. So on Friday, I bought Switch OLED, Metroid Dread, and also rebought Zelda Breath of the Wild. But we'll come back to that.
Right, how much is all that?
It doesn't matter, right? Because
it does. Yeah, it
does. That was
like
about £360 or something.
No, it wasn't. How much is the OLED Switch?
£309.
£309 plus Zelda. Zelda's what, at least 40 quid?
Yeah, that's £48. Yep.
48.
Right, so 50 quid then.
Yeah, I know. It's wild, isn't it? I thought, okay, sure, it's not 48 everywhere. No, it's 48 everywhere. Even second hand is like £44. Anyway.
Right, okay, so how much was Metroid Prime?
That I was like, what, are you chill? What is it? It's like, okay, it's £50 or £60 probably.
Right, okay, so over £400. Yeah. Sarah was bang on.
Anyway,
yeah, okay.
But it doesn't matter because I'm going to sell my old Switch.
You're going to sell it, are you?
Well, so I bought the thing on the Friday, I had my new Switch OLED and I did all the transfer, which I'll get back to in a minute. I was like, Saturday, here we go, sell the Switch. Packaged all up. I mean, basically, my Switch was in near perfect condition, apart from one very crucial part, which you'll hear about. But the screen, I was like, I've had a screen protector on from day one. So the screen was absolutely perfect. The one thing that wasn't perfect about the Switch was that the plastic kind of grills over the speaker grill had snapped off.
You've lost a bit. Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, one of the 6 was still there, but whatever. I was like, apart from that,
oh my god,
it's I thought it's not snapped off on yours.
No, amazingly, because the kids use it all the time.
I think it probably happened when I had it in my bag. I mean, it's in the case, but I think when I was taking it for work every day. Anyway, whatever. Everything was perfect apart from that. And I took it to CX to sell, and they're like,
no chance.
We cannot buy this from you because of this. I was like, what? Just because 4 super thin plastic bits are snapped off, you're not gonna? Like, no, we can't because we can't offer a warranty because the speaker grill is exposed. Whatever. Anyway,
yeah, I mean, it's good, but there's huge bits just missing from your Switch, and you're trying to sell it to CES.
They're tiny, thin. Anyway, the end of the story is LG's got a new Switch.
You said the curved bits on the PS4 5 was essential for getting air out. Those grill bits sit over the vent.
What's that got to do with me selling my Switch?
Well, because those bits of plastic sit over the vent.
No. So you fucked up there, Dave. That's an absolute bollocks argument, and you know it.
Why?
It just is. Anyway, they're so thin. I thought, okay, we'll just knock some money off. No, they said they're not buying it at all. Anyway, so LED's got a new Switch. I've got the new OLED Switch. Let's focus on that. First of all, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, he totally sold it to her. yeah. He added a bit of fake bits of plastic across the top and sold it to her at full price, guaranteed.
No, so I said to her, hey, I'm going to get a new OLED Switch and I'm going to sell the old one. She goes, oh, brilliant. When you sell the old one, can we split the money? I was like, what?
And then you had to go back in and say,
oh, businesswoman at such a young age. But I said no. And in the end, I got no money. So she got a Switch. Yes. Anyway, OLED Switch. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm so glad I've got it. It feels super premium. Not sure if that's just like the screen, but it just feels.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's got to be just the screen, isn't it? Because that's the only fucking thing they've changed.
No.
I'm not sure if it's just the screen.
No.
What are you talking about?
Around the screen?
It as a product feels different. Like it's got a better kickstand, or it's not a little flimsy kickstand. The whole bottom of the device flips up.
Matt, how long have you owned a Switch, and how often have you used that kickstand?
Once, but this feels a lot better, right? Because this is not
okay.
It's not just like you pop out a little 2 centimeter bit of plastic. You can have this down from up almost vertical to almost horizontal. I'm really impressed with that.
Okay,
but no. It just feels like a premium product, and that's even before you turn it on. I think I love the white color. It just feels nice. Anyway, but you turn it on.
I love the white color.
What?
Jesus, okay, Matt.
Anyway. The base of the screen is amazing. The screen,
the screen looks great.
No, it looks great in terms of colours. It feels like the pixels are close to surface, and the old one, it just feels really nice. Like not just how bright they are, not just how good the colours are, but also the extra size of the screen. It just feels like night and day. Which is this is why I didn't think I would get one, because it's just like a larger screen. What's the real thing? But you put them side by side. Even not putting them side by side, it just feels like a really quality product. It feels way more premium than Switch did. The Switch, even at the time, the Switch felt a bit like a toy, but it's a great, cool new device. But this feels like another level, I think.
Really? Because they've got a new screen in it.
Well,
we're not listening to someone who spent £400 on a console and trying to justify it. That's not.
All I can say is I'm way more impressed than I thought I would be, just considering it's got a better screen. It just feels like a different, much more premium product. To the point, actually, I mean, I've played loads of Metro Prime with God's like a minute.
3 or 4 times already.
You're kind of tricked into thinking it's actually a bigger upgrade than it is, because when you start playing games, you're like, oh no, wait, it's still the same kind of, loading and so on and so forth.
Because I feel like that's not
this
the
is a new console,
you wish it was.
Yeah. You're led to believe, oh no, it's going to do loads of new things, but no, it's not. Doesn't do that, because it's still the same innards, pretty much.
Still the same innards.
But it is. I mean, obviously, like CPU, GPU, RAM hasn't changed, but you look at this thing and it looks so good, it feels so good, and then you start games, you're like, no, it's still the same. It's still the same Switch. But I'm really, really glad I played it. It's really impressed me, considering I thought I wasn't going to get one because it's just a better screen. Speakers sound better. It just feels like a nicer product overall. Moving saves over.
£400. So you're happy with that £400, are you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. For real, yeah.
For the screen.
Moving saves over was, I thought, super easy.
Would you say that it feels more like a premium product? Would you say, does that enter the brain while using it?
I would say so.
Okay.
Have you had one yet? Did they have them at EGX?
No.
I didn't see them. No, there was barely anything from Nintendo. There was a few Switches there, but I think they were old school. And as I said on Twitter, I don't need one. I don't need one of those things. I barely use it in handheld mode anyway, right? And as Sean said, yeah, I'm sure games will look like way better on it. Tetris Effect, was the example he gave, would look great on it, which is fine and everything. But it doesn't make me want to part with that amount of money just for a screen upgrade for something, we use it on the TV a lot and all that sort of stuff. And there's barely any change there, is there really? Unless you stick an Ethernet cable in there.
I use mine handheld 99% of the time. So for a handheld user, I'm glad I've got it.
You want it to feel more premium, sure. But I the one thing that it does do is when you look at photos of it and then look at it's the Apple effect, isn't it? You look at photos of the new one, then look at your old one and go, this one looks so shit now, just based on the photos of this new one. But I can swallow that. I can swallow it. I use my Switch a lot, not enough to justify spending £400 on a slightly bigger screen. Well, it wasn't fine.
I mean, the 400 quid is including the games. I mean, it's £300.
310 then. You said 310, right?
Yeah, 309.
Yeah, okay. 309. Okay, because 310 would have pushed it a bit. But
you were saying 400 quid. Stop. Stop. It's 309.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, I was going to go over loads of bollock stuff about transferring mine and Animal Crossing, but it's not worth it. But what I will say is, if you buy a new Switch, when you transfer saves over, it doesn't include Animal Crossing, so make sure you download the other app, because I almost lost everything because I thank God I checked, frankly. Because you've got to download the app and all sorts for Animal Crossing.
Let's get to the game then.
Metroid Dread. I played about 10 hours so far on my game clock. And I think I'm getting to the end. I don't know how many levels or how many parts of the game. It feels like I'm getting very close to the end. But yeah, 10 hours. I mean, I believe a lot of people say, it's an 8 to 10 hour game. I'm sure for me, it'll take 12 to 15. But that's just me.
Okay, you're bad at games. But what do you think of this one? Because you weren't a fan of Super Metroid when you played it last year.
No, so when I played Super Metroid on stream, the first few streams, I was like, okay, music's amazing, atmosphere's amazing. The combat was fun, but then it got to a point where it just started doing my head in with controls, and I left it left with a sour taste in my mouth, to say the least. But this is easily one of my games of the year, which is totally surprised me. So yeah, basically everything from the way the combat is, the way Samus moves, the animation, getting new abilities is really, really fun and changes it and encourages you to go all over the map, all over it again. The sense of exploration you get as you make your way around the map, it's just all so damn good. I was up to like 2 a.m. playing it on Friday and Saturday, and had to force myself last night to go to bed at a sensible time. So today wasn't a write-off. Yeah, I've absolutely loved it. So I've unlocked 6 or 7 locations. Again, I don't know how many there are, but they're all so incredibly varied, with new enemies to kind of attack and defend against, and they all look absolutely gorgeous. I think this is a really, really lovely game. It's 2D. There's a couple of like not 3D bits, but bits where the camera angle changes. So it's kind of they're mostly kind of a cinematic moments, shall I say? But yeah, it's mostly a 2D game, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Again, I'm playing on OLED. Maybe it's that. I haven't actually played on TV yet, but so maybe it's affecting me differently because I'm playing on the new machine. But yeah, combat movement feels really, really, really excellent. And again, this is something I complained about when I played Super Metroid. Controlling not great, but this feels really, really solid. Maybe because I'm using analog. I don't know. But yeah, I'm loving it. Although I think the controls wise, and maybe it's just me because I'm a shit gamer, but it's packing a lot of controls into the amount of face buttons and shoulder buttons you have. So there's a bunch where you hold down L at any point to have like a aiming cursor. So I'm holding that down a lot to make sure I'm aiming at the right things and whatnot. So I'm holding down L, and then some combat maneuvers you need to hold down R as well, and then hold down Y to do a charge and let go. So there's been a couple of times where I've maybe held like ZR instead of just R, and I've done like the wrong thing in a combat scenario. That's probably just me being shit. It's trying to include a lot of things on hold this button down, now hold that one down, and I don't know. But no, but apart from that, I think generally navigating the environment and whatnot feels good, feels satisfying. When you go into like the ball, It uses rumble really, really well. There's a bit of texture there. It can feel a bit of... It's not haptic feedback. I mean, someone will probably message saying, no, it is haptic feedback, Matt. But it just feels nice. I'm not saying you get a real sense of a ball traveling down like a vent, but it feels good. You get like obviously a massive range of abilities, and every ability you unlock, like it feels like, okay, I'm really excited to use this. Where's this going to take me? Obviously, these abilities will unlock new doors, and there's one of the negatives I have probably about the game is that there are absolutely fuckloads of different ways to unlock doors and things in this environment. Not just like 2 or 3 or 4. There's like at least 10. There's like somewhere you need to have like certain missiles, or you know, have certain abilities. And so when you look at the map I think is incredibly confusing because there's so much information being relayed to you on one map. But I've done a lot of my time in this game zooming in, scanning the map, not in like a Resident Evil 2, you know, kind of mode where I was like scared of the game, but just kind of like, okay, so how do I even get there? Oh, what is that door? What door is it I need? And can this new ability unlock that door? So I've done a lot of time. I've just like zoomed in and scanned the map because the map is just incredibly complicated, incredibly complex, giving you everything. I think they could have simplified that map somewhat. But in terms of actual combat, there's the main focus of the game, I guess, is that you're in this alien planet and you're up against these enemies called EMMIs. EMMI stands for Extraplanetary Multiform Mobile Identifier. Basically, it's a robot that kills you. But these are incredibly difficult enemies to try and battle against. There's 7 across the whole game. And basically, the first time you see them, they'll basically see you and they'll kill you basically instantly. But what happens is the first time you see them, you're in kind of a mini QTE battle where you'll see one. The second it sees you, and as soon as it goes to where you are, you're in like mini QTE mode where you have a window of about 2 seconds before the EMMI goes to attack you, and there's an incredibly small window where you can press X, I think it is, to basically parry that. Parry the move. If you don't do it, then basically they'll grab you. You have another secondary, incredibly small window. You fail that, you're dead. Now, this happens very early on in the game, and then constantly throughout the game. And I can see a lot of people getting annoyed by this because you see an EMMI, they come and get you. You can hide, but there's a computer in the game called Adam, and they basically say you get die 99% of instances when you see an EMMI. And it is true. I've died countless times because I either can't get a timing down off either one of the parries, and the window changes as well. It's not like the QT starts, you know, like a second and a bit, you press it. No, it feels like it changes every single time, and it's really hard to deal with. So you're in these battles, but at them battles, I think the complexity is really, really good because it means every time you meet them, it's kind of scary. And even at the end, we've got loads, or near the end where I am, with loads of different abilities and whatnot. Seeing one of them is still like a tense moment. You're still okay, I better hide. And you get various like abilities later on, like you can cloak yourself. So again, unless the enemy actually comes into contact with you, you can go invisible and they'll go past you. But all those moments are still incredibly tense because you know the second they'll get you, there's an incredibly small chance you'll actually be able to like parry. And if you do manage to get a timing down and you do parry their attack, you have like a small period of time where you can like run away basically from them. But I don't know if you can do it a second time. I mean, if you are, then
so what happens
you're an
when you
absolute
die?
genius.
What, you just go back to the checkpoint?
Yeah. You die instantly and you go back to a checkpoint. Again, that could be annoying, but you're rarely more than say 30 seconds away from the location you were before. So it's not that bad. It can be a bit frustrating, particularly because when you go into an EMMI zone and there's like certain areas where these EMMIs exist, you basically don't really know where the exits are, and you have to. There's certain doors you can get out of if an enemy sees you. If it's in like attack mode where everything glows red, the doors are closed, so you have to go away and hide somewhere. You don't really know where you're going, so it's basically you're getting chased and you don't know where the exits are. So it can be a bit fraught at those points, but again, even if you die and even if you get caught, you're still rarely 30 seconds away from where you were before. So it's not quite so bad. But I still think that the difficulty of them, I think, really really adds to it. They could have made it easier. They could have made it so that the timing window for the parry is the same every time. But I feel like that would rob it of all the tension and all the excitement. And
it sounds like
annoying
a
as
good idea,
it could be to get, okay, scene one, I've been killed, or I didn't know where I was going, I got caught, dead again. I feel like that's a key part of it, frankly. I think that's really, really good.
Do I buy it?
It's fucking excellent. I'm like, so I've played it loads. Every time I get a new ability, I'm like, okay, where do I go now? Even if the map is a little bit confusing, it's not 100% clear. I mean, there's been points where I've got an ability and I can open this door now, that door, that opens this area, a whole new area. But it has been about 2 or 3 occasions where I'm like, okay, I think I've opened everything. Where do I go now? Because there's some parts actually in this map where it's one way. Like I would maybe go in a door, go in an area, I'm like, okay, I can't get back because it's closed. There's some reasons where you can go, the doors are basically one way only. You can't get back the other way. So I'm like, okay, where do I go now? I can't get back. I don't have a mega jump to jump up to a certain door. I can't go this area. Like there's one area earlier on in the game where I didn't have the morph ball, where you transform into a ball as you do in all Metroid games. I'm like, okay, I can't go through all these little like vents. Where the hell do I go? And I knew the next area I had to go to, but I couldn't even find a way there. So there's been 2 or 3 points in this game where I'm like, okay, I don't know where to go. I'm kind of stuck, kind of lost. I'll just travel where I can on the map and hope a scenario shows itself to me and I can find my way out. And I do eventually do that, but it's taken me at least half an hour on some occasions to like find out where to go. But yeah, I think it looks gorgeous. It's so exciting to play and to fight these enemies. I haven't even got to the boss battles. The boss battles also excellent. All the main ones like 3 phases. You go into a boss battle and sometimes you might get like rinsed, incredibly quickly. And then you're like, how am I even going to do this? And then it gets towards the end of a battle once you play it enough to learn the tells and learn what to do, where the first 2 phases you can get done in like 30 seconds or 15 seconds. It feels like you can really rinse through them when you actually understand attacks, understand where you need to be, how you need to like combat the boss's maneuvers. And the bosses are incredibly, incredibly satisfying. Now, later on in the game, most of the earlier bosses and bigger bosses that have like cutscenes and whatnot, you'll drop into an area, you'll know you're on a big, a big boss battle. But some others, you'll get into an area where the doors just close, and then you're fighting like a much, much faster enemy. It kind of changes from like a Dark Souls style boss to like a Sekiro boss, where it really is about fast movement and parrying and being in certain places at certain times. And then those are now, again, like the Dark Souls thing, those are just regular enemies now in the map. But again, incredibly satisfying combat. Yeah. It's absolutely brilliant.
Well, I'm interested. Maybe I need to pick this up.
Have you played other Metroids?
No, I think I got halfway through Super Metroid, but I didn't stop it because I wasn't enjoying it, but I just moved on to something else. But I never played it back in the day. So I think that's sort of a big factor.
I'm fascinated to know. I know James is enjoying it because I've been texting him a lot about it. I know Sean's the same, so I'm excited to hear their thoughts on it back. Because obviously that they played loads of Metroids, and I've only played that one. But as someone who doesn't know all the lore, all the story, and all that, and the history, and I'm sure if you played them, this probably has loads of nods to the older games and whatnot, but as like I still feel like I'm a first timer, even though I played Super Metroid. Yeah, I think it's an absolutely fantastic game, and I'm loving it. I haven't really stopped playing it. That could be a combination of both getting the new hardware and the game. The game looks amazing on it, and I can't wait to play it. I should actually have it finished by the time this episode comes out. I feel like I'm near-ish the end, but
that doesn't help us, does it? we won't.
No, but I'm excited to talk about the next one.
Maybe I need to get it before Sean and James are on next.
You should. It'd be great. They would obviously play a fair bunch, and for you to have your view as well would be good. But you never know.
The next episode, I might be talking about how I'm playing Metroid Dread on an OLED Switch, and I'm impressed by how premium it feels. So who knows? Right? Okay. We'll I'm sure there'll be more Metroid Dread chat later. I'm going to stream through the games that I've got to talk about because I cannot believe how long we've been talking. I'm so sorry, Sarah. You didn't sign up for this.
That's all right.
This is a long episode.
I feel like I've kind of instigated a lot of the long chat.
Well, it's nowhere near as bad as your first appearance on this show when we were recording in about 200 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes,
that was the bad one. Yes, hopefully this isn't too bad. Right. So first of all, quick chat for Deathloop. I have bought that and I am playing through that. And
Excellent.
Last night I was enjoying it. I wasn't blown away by it until last night. I killed my first boss and run out of revivals and was trying to escape, and then I was like, oh right, okay, wow. One thing that I didn't pick up on when you'd previously spoken about it is that although it's a time loop game, there's not time progression while you're playing it, is there?
No,
unless there's
there's
right?
no time progression. I mean, certain things happen in certain kind of periods, but you can stay there as long as you want. And there's not until you move to the next area.
It doesn't push forward. Oh god, that takes a relief off, because that's a concern that I had. That not only are you fighting against, the enemies or whatever, you're also fighting against time. But actually, when you're in the area at that point of the day, you can take as long as you want. There's no time period.
You can spend hours and hours there, it'll still stay morning. The only thing that changes is there are events in each one where certain things happen at certain times in the morning. But
right, okay. Also, the other thing that made me click with it is that although there's some stealth in that game, it is not a stealth game. Like it's very loose with how many people are alerted to what you're doing when you get caught. It's very limited to each pocket. Oh, really?
Yeah, that changes from morning to night, and also if you've killed a visionary on your journey, then that also ramps things up to the point where at the end you can you'll be outside of a building and they're like, whoa, everyone's on, and there's like 1,000 people to try and kill. Yeah, so at the beginning in the morning, it's calm as hell. You can do it. You can jump in front of someone and they're like, what? Whereas at the end, you can peek out for barely half a second and the whole party's on you.
But yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'm still very early on. I've killed one visionary and I've got one slab. So that's how early on I am in that game. But I'm liking the back and forth. I love the characters in it.
Yes, so good. Have you played Deathloop, Sarah?
I haven't. I bought it, but then I also haven't played either of the Dishonored. So I bought Deathloop for my boyfriend because he really, really wants it, and I was like, I'm feeling nice. But yeah,
I will treat him.
Yeah, I'll get him a little present. But yeah,
keep him sweet.
I may borrow it once he's done it, but
does he play it with headphones on?
I know he's got one of the Pulse 3D headsets, so he might be using it.
I mean, you'd know if he wasn't, because the who's it? Juliet? Is it Juliet or Julianne? Julianne,
Juliana.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Juliana. Right, when she talks in the game, it comes out the speaker in the pad, and at first you're like, "Oh, that's cool," because it's like it's coming through the speaker. Yeah, I get that. And then after about 2 seconds, you're like, "This is fucking annoying, and it needs to stop now." I hate that, because you've also got to independently turn the volume down on the pad to reduce, because it's really loud. It was like, do you remember when you first played Resogun on the PS4, Matt? And it was like, what was it? Human saved. It made you jump because it was so loud.
I remember Killzone doing that as well. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's annoying. I find that very annoying. Because I play with headphones on mainly, but the other day I played it without headphones on and it started doing that, and I was like, oh no, I'm not digging this. But the characters, the way they talk, the style of the thing is just great. And the enemies really creep me out, like with their masks and all that. Some of them look like androids and stuff. It's an odd one.
Yeah,
is that ever explained?
Kind of feels like We Happy Few, doesn't it, at some points?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, totally. What did they ever explain that?
Yeah, it is explained.
Okay, cool. Because he does comment on it very early on. But I'm just I'm interested.
When it's explained, there's a reason they're wearing them, but it's not. They don't go too deep.
Okay, yeah, I just need a reason, I think. But yeah, no, that's a quick mention for that because I'm still very early on. Also, a quick mention for Tetris Effect Connected on the Switch. We all got codes for that. And I was like, I've played this game on everything. don't need to play it again. And I was totally wrong because I did need to play it again. I did a full run through the journey, and now I'm doing sprint. So Tetris Effect is still amazing, really. I don't know why I had such a bad reaction to it. I think I was really disappointed with the majority of the music in that game, and I think that still stands, that criticism from me personally. It's so subjective, but that still stands from me. But it's still Tetris, you know what I mean? And when you get a Perfectress, or when you use your special move, it's like it's such a great feeling.
Yeah, I thought that was. I love the soundtrack, and I thought it was amazing in VR. Once Dread is done, I'm excited to try it on the Switch with some good headphones.
Last time I checked, I was ranked 150th in the world in Journey mode, mate. Do you know what I mean? You didn't get that on the PS4 or the Xbox version, so I'm quite proud of myself for that. But hopefully, less people are playing it, and I might get into the top 100 because I need to improve those scores as well. I've only got SS rank in a couple of the areas, but I need to up that. Oh, I love Tetris; it's good. And finally, the main game I've been playing over the past couple of weeks actually is Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, which is it's kind of a reboot of the original 2, like a remaster of the original 2. It's a really fascinating game. Like, so Monkey Ball, I mean, we all love Monkey Ball, right? Sarah, have you played much Monkey Ball?
I've played a little bit.
It's hard not to like it. I mean, even the rubbish ones or whatever, it's hard not to like it. But thinking back to Super Monkey Ball 1, when it originally came out on GameCube, I spent so many hours on it and I loved it. And I get the same feeling here, but there are also a lot of missed opportunities, right? So let me just run through the criticisms first. To start with, right, I think hardcore Super Monkey Ball fans are going to dislike this game, but mainly because it makes a lot of changes to the original Super Monkey Ball. I say a lot of changes, some very minor changes, but are very noticeable for people. I'm talking the people that still play the original Monkey Ball games, there's some very slight tweaks to the physics. They've got rid of the live system, whereas like originally in Super Monkey Ball, you go into a difficulty setting, you do a run through. If you collect enough bananas, you get an extra life. If you run out of lives, you have to start it all over from the start. If you don't lose any lives in a run, then you get some special stages at the end. It does away with all of that. And but I look at that and go, oh yeah, they're not really making it for the super hardcore people. They're making it slightly easier for people that are coming to Monkey Ball for the first time. That makes total sense. It doesn't use the original soundtrack, and I was like, that's weird. Yeah, I mean, if you're rebuilding the original game, surely use the original soundtrack. I thought that was a terrible.
But again, it could be a licensing thing.
Decision. Well, no, because it's all original music owned by Sega, I assume. But then, Matt, I went and listened to the original soundtrack again after playing this one and just went, oh, right, okay, yeah, I'm not that bothered that the original soundtrack is
right, I know.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. I mean, it was like playing, was it Beehive Bedlam music just then? What was it called?
Yeah,
where it was Bedlam. Like, oh, I've got no emotional connection to the music to this game, so it's totally fine. Also, the main menu music to Banana Mania is fantastic, so that's all good. But yeah, so here are the other criticisms. Firstly, you build up, you do challenges to get coins, and you unlock characters in the shop, which is all great. So it's got Sonic, Kiryu from Yakuza, the Tails, a bunch of other characters that you can unlock. You can only use them in the main story mode. For some reason, you can't use them in the party games. Makes no sense to me. Secondly, it doesn't record your high scores in party mode. So if you're playing Monkey Target or Monkey Bowling or anything like that, it gets to the end and it goes, here's your score, goodbye. Like, it doesn't say enter your name in or anything like that.
That's wild. Why would it not do that?
I think because you can modify each party mode a lot. So,
right.
Like, say, for example, bowling, you can modify different things on the bowling, like before you go into the game. So if you were to modify it to the point where the points become completely tied to that modification, then what's the point in slinging them all in a scoreboard? But there should be a default mode that tracks your scores, because it's just really frustrating.
Here's the time with these kind of these various things you've added, but.
Yeah, exactly, but nothing. It hasn't got any of that. It does have a challenge mode, which has online scoreboards with set rules for only 4 of the game modes. I think it's monkey target, monkey shooting. What's it called? Monkey shot, I think it's called.
Monkey target?
No, monkey target's different. Monkey target's the one where you go down a ramp, fly up into the air, and then fly down and try and hit a target. Right. Monkey shoot is like a light gun game, which isn't very good. In fact, all of the mini games from Monkey Ball 2 are not very good. Monkey soccer's rubbish, monkey baseball's rubbish. There's a lot of crap there. But monkey bowling still feels amazing. And although you don't get like those sort of analog triggers that you had on the GameCube pad that felt so perfect for putting spin on, it still works. Like, it's still a lot of fun. Monkey Target is a bit of a controversial one. They've changed a lot with the physics, especially when it comes to rolling down the ramp. So if that was your game and you wanted to buy this for Monkey Target, then be aware that it does feel a lot different. And what the other Monkey Fight's still good fun. We've been playing a lot of that, which is the one where you've got a spring-loaded punching glove on the front of your ball, and you just like roll around punching each other. All that stuff. It's all. This is it. So all these changes and all these missed opportunities or weird design decisions, they could have made the game a hell of a lot better, in my opinion. However, we've just been obsessed with Monkey Ball again. Like Harry, Charlie, myself, waking up early in the morning and sitting playing Monkey Ball for an hour and a half, whether it's the story mode or doing various party games. It's still a really good game. It's still a hell of a lot of fun. And yeah, some of the stages are terrible from Super Monkey Ball 2, like the random stuff where there's not really much skill involved. It's just you hope that you make the goal. But you can. It's got an option to just skip those ones. You don't have to complete them to move on to the next one, and that's a good thing, I think, because I don't want to sit there and play the levels that I hate. I want to get to the next one, and it's also got a load of like assists on. Like there's an option to slow it down into slow mo. There's some arrows to point where you should be heading. All of that stuff. And so Harry's just been blasting through it using those assist stuff because the main game is far too hard for him. So we've all kind of been Monkey Ball obsessed since it come out. So I think ultimately my view is this: if you are a Monkey Ball obsessive that would get frustrated with the slightest change that they'd make to those original games, then you ain't going to like this game. And I've seen a lot of comments from a lot of Super Monkey Ball fans saying exactly that. But if you just fancy a bit of Monkey Ball, then this is fucking great. Like, really good fun. And yeah, you might get a little bit frustrated with the slight missed opportunities here and there. But at the end of the day, it's got Monkey Bowling in, and the main game mode is still a hell of a lot of fun to play. So it's kind of a recommendation, but not if you're an obsessed Monkey Ball fan. Which is fine. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into. I'm not belittling people that are into that game. I'm just saying the game you want is not here. But the game a lot of people will like is. So
it's weird they made a lot of changes. I thought this would be a slam dunk and but they've also done it for a reason.
You can't do that. I think I think a lot of the changes had to be made because those original games were rock hard. They were so difficult. So I think actually making it a little bit more accessible is a good thing. But that's my view. Super Monkey Ball. Super Monkey Ball. Sarah, have you got anything for us?
I have. So, obviously I was going to talk about EGX. Like, before I went to EGX, my plan was like, man, I'm going to play so many games, so I've got things to talk about on the podcast. that didn't happen, because literally the only other thing I've been playing for about the past 8 weeks has been Destiny 2. But let's not talk about that. I did the Vault of Glass, though, and it was amazing.
Like, oh yeah, your first time, wasn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, it's changed from the original. Things like the oracles.
They changed the jumping bit. That was my favourite bit, I think.
I don't think so. But then I play a warlock, so anything jumping is super easy for me because we
just
have
floated over it.
Yeah.
Did you have one person in your party just completely like screwing it up over and over again? Because that's why I love that bit.
As
you're just sitting there, everyone's waiting for him the other side, like laughing.
As you can imagine, it was an overconfident hunter.
Yeah, sounds like me.
That was me. Yeah.
Also been playing some Trials of Osiris because they've opened that up to allow for matchmaking, and that's been really good. That's kind of made me like PvP Destiny now. But
okay.
Yeah, it's been really good. The seasonal story has now finished for now. We've got Festival of the Lost starting tomorrow night, and then in December we've got like the Bungie 30th, and then obviously Witch Queen February. It's still just been really, really good. But I obviously needed something else to talk about, and luckily, with really good timing, the Steam Next Fest has been running.
I heard about the massive demo event, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the only one I got around to playing, and to be honest, the only one that I actually really, really wanted to play was Inscription. So it's a game that was revealed during Devolver Digital's E3 presentation. Essentially, It's the weird, spooky card game. If you remember seeing the trailer for it.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked great, even if it wasn't 100% clear at the time what even it was. And I think Sean streamed a demo during Fest the other week as well.
Nice. So essentially it's a lot like Slay the Spire in that it is it's a roguelike card game, deck builder. So I'm sure James would absolutely love it.
He'll be all over that.
Oh yeah.
Be all over that.
Essentially, the story is that you don't really know how you got to where you are, but you are essentially sat at a table with this figure. You can only see his eyes. The rest of him's like in shadow, but if you lose and like die, his like hands come out of the shadow, but that's all. And he'll pretend to be different bosses by like putting a mask on. But you don't really know what he looks like. So essentially you're in this cabin, sat at a table, and he'll roll out a map. And you make your way along the map, doing, encounters and fights. But if the map is rolled out, you can stand up from the table at any point and, like, walk around the room. And then the room has, like, escape room / point and click adventure type puzzles that you can do to like unlock new cards.
So the game isn't just that card mode. There's
like a whole puzzle thing to it. And then there's also a twist at the end of the demo that I don't want to give away because it's so cool and kind of turned me from going, yeah, this game's really cool, I'll probably pick it up, to shit, I need to buy this because I need to see what it's going to do with that. But
interesting.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like part of me was like, oh yeah, I'll talk about it because, it's just a demo, but it's such a cool twist that I also don't want to spoil it, even if you do only pick up the demo.
That's pretty cool for a demo, to be fair.
Yeah. There's just like a moment when you essentially finish the demo that I just went like, what? And then it obviously kind of went a little bit further, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. It just does so much really, really cool little things. So obviously the art style is incredible. It's essentially the art on the cards and like all of the text is like very kind of 8-bit, like pixel art. It's all just like black and white pixel art, essentially. But then the sort of the table and items and the sort of antagonist, it almost kind of looks like PS1 pre-rendered, but with the little bit of like shine to it. I find it really, really hard to describe exactly how it looks, but it's not photorealistic and it's also not pixel. It's kind of somewhere in the middle, but it
looks like the early days of 3D, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like
100%.
Sega Saturn, PS1 kind of 3D.
Yeah, exactly. The lighting's fantastic. It uses lighting really, really well. What else is it that I've got down? Because I actually made notes on this. I finished the demo and then was just like, I need to write notes because I can't forget any of this really, really cool stuff. But yeah, essentially, it is... You are being told the story of being lost in the woods, and these different animals are joining you on your journey through these like spooky woods. And the animals are your cards, but like they will also talk to each other and they will talk to you, which is and they will react to like certain things that you do. So certain cards don't like other cards, and they allude to things having happened before. And then there's this super cool thing where if you die, you're essentially in this other room, and the antagonist sort of figure basically says, okay, well, I want to take a memento of you. So you create your own card. You basically pick like a cost, you pick stats. It gives you like a choice of like 3 for each of these, and then you pick your like special ability, and then you put in your name or whatever name you want to put in. The figure then takes a photo of you. What would have been really, really cool is if it actually used a connected camera to take a photo and put like a pixel version of it in. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that. I thought it was going to, and I was a little bit disappointed that it didn't, but you know, the fact that it still does that is very cool, because essentially you can kind of create your own cards that will then appear in your deck on your next run through. Also, again, I kind of don't want to spoil anything, because this was another moment that just like made me go when it happened. If you are playing the demo, pick up the pliers as an item and then use them in one of the card games. That's all I'm going to say, because...
that sounds like a little, was it Games Master tip there?
Yeah. So basically you can obviously get like items. So like there's a fan that lets your... one of your cards get flying for the next fight. You can also use use a bottle to get like a card instantly. One of the items is pliers, and the game basically tells you that if you use the plier, it will do 1 instant damage to your opponent. But I don't want to say any more than that. How the game shows that is what's happening, I did not expect, and kind of like horrified me, and also I just absolutely loved it. I was like, I wasn't expecting it.
It's out yet?
It's out on the 19th of October.
Okay, so pretty soon.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Pretty mad. I mean, I'm never into card games or anything, but it sounds like it's doing a little bit more with the.
Yeah,
it's not breaking the fourth wall, but you know what I mean. Okay, all right.
That's the thing. This is kind of what I was thinking when I finished playing it. Is just the kind of like the standard spooky card game. It's fantastic. Like the actual card game within it is really, really good. It's a really solid card game they've managed to put together. Then you have, the addition of all the puzzles within the wider cabin, and then you also have the really, really, really cool art style and narrative. And then you have the thing that happens at the end of the demo. Like there's so many different levels to it. So I'm really excited to play more of it. And yeah, it's nice. I think if you pre-order it now, it's like £15, so it's not expensive. I don't know what else it's on other than PC, but yeah, I'm excited to get it, and I'm excited to play more of it.
Yeah, I think it's just PC and Mac, but it does look cool. I remember it looked great during that Devolver Digital thing at E3, and yeah, I saw a bit of Sean playing the demo as well. It looked awesome.
Cool. Is that on YouTube?
Yeah, Sean's stream is on YouTube. Yeah, Ashram, is it?
Cool.
He did like maybe I'll check.
Okay. All right. Well, that doesn't help the listeners, right? What should we do? Should we do? I'm
thinking we leave questions until next week.
Okay, I am so sorry if you sent in a question this week. We will keep them in the pool and get to them next week. It's just been one of those shows. I was thinking today, it's going to be quite a short one. Only 3 of us. We'll blitz through this. We are now nearly 3 hours in. So, do you want to do the socials?
I don't know how that's
anyone
happened. Yeah. So yeah, James is away now, but he'll be back in time for Dark Souls 2. His stream on Friday night from 9 p.m. That's at twitch.tv/TCGSco. And I'm going to start my stream on Sunday, I think.
Whoa,
I'm nervous about starting it. I was thinking actually maybe I was put off another week, but I'll keep putting off forever. I'll keep tinkering forever. It now. I might as well just start it. So
yeah,
you just need to start just do
it. That's me playing through Mass Effect Trilogy this Sunday night from 8 p.m. I'm really nervous.
Have you played it before?
I played a little bit of Mass Effect, and then the bug of like an hour or two, and the bugs did my nutting. I stopped playing it.
Okay.
But I hear they fixed that stuff.
What have you played them, Sarah?
No, I think I've played about the same amount as Matt. Started playing the first
Mass
one.
Effect 2, though.
It wasn't the bugs that annoyed me. I just didn't really get on with it. I thought the shooting was real janky.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, that first one's a nightmare.
Cool.
Yeah, I never made it all the way through the first one, but then the second one blew my mind. So, God, this is exciting. This is exciting, Matt.
Yeah, I'm just when I stopped streaming last September, it's because I was like super stressed, and it's like I just couldn't. I didn't want to do it anymore, and but I just need to. I used to love streaming, so I just need to get back into it, and
Yeah.
So
I mean, you did also stream a couple of games this year, and
but it's different when you're on your own because it's all about you. Whereas with James, we can hide behind the drinking and stuff. It's fine.
We could hide behind the facts.
Anyway, yeah. So I will be. I guess I'm streaming this Sunday night from 8 p.m. I'm going to start Mass Effect. I mean, I know everyone says the first one's janky and the second one's amazing, but I couldn't start the second one. It feels tight.
No, start the first
one.
So
yeah, don't feel bad if you need to tap out, but you've definitely got to get to the second one. That is the one.
I'm so intrigued as to how you're gonna play it.
Yeah,
how do you mean?
It's true. Well, the decisions that you make in it, it makes a big impact.
Are you going to be good? Are you going to be bad? Who are you going to romance? To put it nicely, even though it's like it's midnight right now, so I could have just gone full vulgar with it, and it would be time appropriate. But then I realise some people might do what I do,
so you could say whatever the hell you want. So it's fine. It is fine. Do any of those fuckers. Right, go on. Sorry, go on.
Sunday night for me. I may do a test stream in the week just to make sure things are working, but whatever. Those are both on twitch.tv/TCGSco. If you have Amazon Prime, your Twitch Prime Gaming, you get 1 free sub every month. And I'd love it if you went over to James' stream on Friday, my stream on Sunday, or whenever in the week and gave us your free sub. It really means a lot to us. Dark Horse happens every Friday morning. That's a rerun of the Dark Horse series from 2015. Every Friday morning, not on this feed. Again, it's on the Dark Horse feed. Search for it on your podcast service or player of choice. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS for exclusive podcasts, live talk servers, and also a massive thank you to everyone who filled in our survey we put out last week. We wanted to mix
up
and refresh our Patreon stuff. Put out a survey. You've had over like 75 responses. Massive thanks to everyone who's done it. If you haven't already done it, if you're a Patreon subscriber, any tier, go over to Patreon. There's a link over there to a very short survey. Just tell us what you don't, and what you like and what you don't like. Massively appreciate that. And tcgs.co is the website for everything else.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me back.
I'm so sorry for taking up so much of your time. This is
all
mad.
good. It's all good. I kind of mentally like prepare for it to take this long because I don't. I think obviously the first one we did went long on like the hottest day of the year.
Yeah,
and then I think the last one also went fairly long.
Yep.
So, you know.
And this one's taking the piss.
Yeah, it's taking the total piss. And thank you so much for living it, everyone. To just summarise the beef, there is no more beef.
No beef.
And also, Matt Murray. Totally bottled it.
No, I think actually I'm growing up as a person. I feel like I could have taken that bet on, but no, it's just too. I wasn't going to do it. Like the terms are massive.
Yeah, you're growing up as a person by saying that you'll never bet again because you lost the last one. That's very grown up.
Because he just knows he would have lost this one.
Well, come on, Sarah. Let's not worry.
Goodbye, everyone.
The beef's been squashed. Let's not take the piss now. Right at the end.
Goodbye.
The world's #1 professional multi-pattern USB microphone. The Yeti's tri-capsule technology condenser microphones have 4 different pattern settings offering incredible flexibility. You can record studio quality vocals for music, podcasts, Twitch streaming, YouTube videos, or any audio projects that would normally require multiple microphones.
Blue Yeti, Blue Yeti.
With its unique and innovative design, the Blue Yeti can be ready to work in seconds. Sound quality can be optimised by adjusting and pivoting the mic, and it has easy control for muting and unmuting.
The Blue Yeti is both Mac and PC compatible with USB. It is equipped with 3.5mm headphone jack, allowing you to listen to the recording in real time.
So, head to bluemic.com and enter code YETIPOD15 for 15% off your new Blue Yeti, and start creating and sharing now. 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 Now.